We're going to bring him in from highest tier to lowest tier. If you want, you can join Viewer Collins on his Discord, okay? There's some banned topics. AI, abortion, veganism, music, and audio.
Jesus
all banned.
Christ.
We might ban more going forward.
Oh my
Israel,
God.
Palestine, not banned.
Oh my God.
Najima, muted and deafened, but I'm going to give him about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
Hello.
Najima, you're on.
Hello.
What's
Hello.
your topic today?
I wanted to devil's advocate David Fromm's argument for the Iran war on the Bulwark. They're all anti-Trump, but he was making the neocon case for Destiny to react to.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
The case he made was the Israeli intelligence was such that there was a unique opportunity to decapitate most of the Iranian regime in a way that it wouldn't sort of come back around in a while. That is what convinced sort of the greater American state apparatus that they've been thinking about the war for Iran for a long time, even if Donald Trump hasn't considered all the details, right? So that's what convinced them to also go in for it, and that there's a decent chance it might end up working out because of those things, that there might have been solid intelligence behind it, or actually Fromm is asserting that there was, based on like sort of his reporting, right? So that's the argument that was being pushed forward. And I mean, yeah, you don't have to defend the position that Trump knew about it beforehand, but that this could be sort of the American state's goal and it could work out. So yeah.
Why, when you say work out, I mean, like, I think we can defeat the Iranian regime. That was never a question, I think, right?
Yes. I meant more okay, when I say work out here, I meant like it'll work out politically for them in the end, right? In a way that like this mission could be successful to the point where it all works out politically, which I think, at least in the lib side of it, we're taking sort of as fait accompli that it won't, that this will. And maybe that's just like, pre-baked doomerism at this point.
Anything could work out well politically, but I mean, like, will it? I mean, it could also go really bad, and it seems like the shot caller on that right now seems to be exclusively Israel.
Yes, but and this is the argument that Fromm is making, right? That there is some competent planning going on behind, say, at least the operational bits, things like the taking off the Karg Island and whatnot, all of it. Yeah, I'm not articulating it well.
Why do I feel like, or what would lead me to believe there's some competent planning going on behind things?
In that this is what the Pentagon has been, like the specific things they're doing, right? The targets they're striking, the way they're striking them. These are the things that they've been planning for since the last 40 odd years, essentially, right? This has, and I mean, the reporting also talks about, right, like that this is something that the Biden admin, the Obama admin, Bush, like Netanyahu's asked for an American to go along with this for a long time, right? You do have the sort of the Pentagon planning for how this will play out there. It exists. Presumably the government is capable of following it through as well.
Well, I mean, like,
right?
Yeah, but when you say planning, like planning in terms of like, are we able to execute on our ability to regime change? Yeah, I think that's certainly going to be the case. I just don't know if we're ready for all of the potential fallout from...
No, but a successful regime change would be the win, right? That's because
well, but like when you say the DoD and everybody else have been planning out attacks and everything, sure, but like, does that mean that does that include the planning of like what comes next, or what government's going to be there next, or how other regional actors are going to respond, or like what else is going on in the world? Like when you say this has been planned for 40 years, like there wasn't a Russia-Ukraine war 40 years ago, or the whole October 7th stuff hadn't happened 40 years ago, and the relationship between some of the Middle East wasn't, like China wasn't as involved as they are now in the Middle East. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say it's 100% going to be horrible and it's completely fucked and nothing good is going to happen. I'm sure, it could be the case that in the end somehow everybody pulls through and it's just better for at least everybody in the West. But I mean, like, it's a big risk that I don't trust this administration to competently make. And I also wouldn't rely on any plans that were made decades ago, because I think the current admin is obsessed with throwing away all the old all of the institutional knowledge and everything they have. Also, I'm not even fully convinced. I don't know why I would even believe that any of that old guard is applied now, because we have people like Tulsi Gabbard saying that the intelligence community basically it wasn't like, well, I don't know. Didn't seem like they had a lot of support for the current attacks anyway, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see.
20 seconds left, Najima. Go ahead.
No, that's it. The other thing I had is a separatist topic, which would be more than 20 seconds.
Thank you, Najima.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
You guys too.
Azoron, welcome.
Azoron.
What's your topic?
Hello. My topic is I guess my question is, why shouldn't the Democrats, if we can get the presidency back, why shouldn't we like be as? I guess this is like. My question is, why should Democrats just be like more dictator, like go kind of beyond what Trump is doing in the name of like trying to fix everything? Obviously, I think the answer is like because there's nobody who can really kind of do that. And on the Democrat side, I'm not Jistical. Stop. I just kind of sound like him. So I'd like to hear that answer from you, and maybe like what else can we do ahead of time? And also, a lot of people think that you should like run for office or something like that. I think it would be way more based if you were like the head of like the press conference people. Like,
gotcha, for
just
sure.
Yelling at the.
I'll make sure I'm in the press house
reporters.
briefing. Yes, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, you should do that. That'd be sick.
Why shouldn't? Well, I mean, like, because we want to live in a democracy, right? We don't think we want to live in a dictatorship, no?
I get that, but like, man, it's gonna take so long to fix all this shit.
Is this Jistical?
No.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I can turn on my camera right now.
No, I believe you. Go ahead. You just had that was a Jistical moment. Go ahead, go. You're good. Sorry.
I mean, I lost my train of thought. I'll just end it here. I just think like it's gonna take.
I said
what?
Yeah, well, I said we want to live in a democracy, right? We don't want to actually be in a dictatorship or anything, right?
Yes, I don't want to be in a dictatorship either, but I also don't want to live in this really shitty situation that we're in, where like we have to spend the rest of our lives just trying to get back to like basically like 2008, and that's like where things started getting and shitified. Like we have to like break up. I think we have to like break up all of the major media companies and let the free market like reestablish itself. Like have good journalism rise up through free markets again. And like break up larger companies so that there's like more competition. There's like not these huge corporations that are getting around taxation and things like that. I mean, I
agree.
There's got to be like a way we can fast forward like all this fixing. It's gonna be really, really risky, but dude, I don't know what else to do.
Okay. Well, I mean,
right.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta get. I don't know I don't know how I'm supposed to answer that question. What do you want me to say? No. We gotta fix shit, but not go full dictator mode, but maybe go mini. What did Trump say? Dictator on day one? That thing.
Just a dictator on day one.
Dictator on day
one.
All right,
thank you guys, Ron.
All right, thanks.
Be careful, babe.
Alrighty. Graham.
Oh, hello.
Well, go ahead.
Hey, do you guys take game suggestions? Destiny specifically, but maybe even Mouton?
Nope. Mouton might.
Well, I'll hear it for a second. Go ahead.
All right. It has a ladder. It's a competitive game. There's about like 5 people.
This is about to be a meme thing.
All right.
Wait, what was he gonna say? It was.
I was gonna say League of Legends.
Oh, okay.
/pin and game suggestions. All right, that's added to the banned topic list.
Got him.
Sheerveen. What's your topic?
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Awesome. I want to chat about the tech people, Steven, that you hate, that I think are the real problem for the next like 5 or 6 years. And I think there needs to be like a counter to them strategy, the David Sachs, Mark Andreessen types. But I think you need to know them a little better. Can I give you a really quick bio on some of the key players?
Go for it.
Okay. Mark Andreessen, who you keep saying is a venture capitalist, created Netscape, the first browser. Mark Andreessen, at the same time, Peter Thiel.
Wait. What do you mean by created it? What do you mean by that?
He was part of Mosaic. Mosaic literally created, it was called Mosaic at first.
No, but I mean, what was his job? Was he just an owner? Was he like a software developer or?
Developer. He was a developer.
Okay.
And he has a CS degree, I think, from Illinois.
What?
So
wait.
Yep.
How old is he?
He must be in his 50s now.
They were doing comp sci degrees 30 years ago? In 95?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, was it a comp sci?
Were there even computers in 1995?
4 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Looking up his degree.
You're fine.
Anyway, so he starts let's see what his degree. BS in
Netscape, shit browser. Go ahead.
So anyway, so he does Netscape, and then a company called Opsware, and then this is around, Peter Thiel is at Stanford. He gets a JD, so does David Sachs, who you also hate. Cryptos are wise right now. Peter Thiel writes something in 95, very early on, called the diversity myth. So he's already counterculture, counter diversity, counter DEI before it's really kind of popularized. This all coincides with these people being on the boards of certain companies and eventually being told no on a lot of the founder style mechanics that they want to produce. So this is like before Zuck, and the way Zuck controls Facebook right now, he has like super voting shares, so the board doesn't matter, shareholders don't matter. They were like the first attempt at this. And so they all start their first few venture funds around this time. So this is Mark Andreessen starts A16Z, Peter Thiel starts Founders Fund. These are all explicitly started to be like founder first. The founder can do no wrong. Investors and board members cannot remove founders from their companies. And so this is like their move from culture into tech. And again, I'll point out they all, like several of them have JDs at this time as well. And it's part of, kind of what I think is eventually their theory of, hey, we will manipulate the public through private markets, right? It's like the very libertarian encroachment sort of theory of the world.
Okay.
But around this time is also the beginning of crypto, beginning of blockchain, which they're all part of. And you can start to tie a lot of this together in, let's call it 2013. So like back end, the second half Obama years into first Trump years, where the CFPB, this is where they first get upset at Warren, starts to get on their nerves. This is where their employees for the first time, Project Maven. Do you remember Project Maven? This was Google employees doing a walkout because they were going to do their first contract with the DoD.
Okay. I don't, but go, okay. I believe you.
So they basically view that Google moment in 2017 as like the employees have power. This is like, tech labor is beginning to have an opinion sort of thing.
Okay.
And so this coincides with, we hit COVID, right? And so we hit COVID in 2020, right as a lot of money is being made, but employee and labor power is increasing. There's also this funny moment. This is an aside, but I think it's
You got
important.
a minute 30.
Go.
Okay. Mark Andreessen tweets, I don't remember what year it was, and he says something to the effect of British colonialism was good for India. And this causes a firestorm both from India itself as well as all the Indian employees in Silicon Valley about how problematic his statement was. And he tried to nuance it, but he gets so attacked online, he actually takes like a break for a year or two from tweeting. All of these culture moments then go into 2021, 2022, where for a minute, labor has never been more powerful, especially in tech. The salaries engineers are commanding are crazy. Founders are getting a lot of capital from people like Mark, people like Peter. And then we get the clampdown. The clampdown is the markets are kind of reverting. We now have AI, and their theory is kind of power of labor is going away. But this is also when things like the All In podcast, which you've watched clips of, this is like Chamath, this is David Sachs, this is Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz and A16Z don't have as successful a podcast, but they have a bunch of content online. Hanania also helped them a lot in creating a lot of this like alt-right connection to the tech right. TLDR, because I know I'm running out of time, this is the enemy that I think you're shadowboxing right now because they try not to be that public, but they're the enemy you should cook.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Cool.
Love you.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Get a load of that guy.
I don't know what that guy was about. Salt, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Wait.
Uh,
Oh, no,
as
my
a,
God.
nope.
Go ahead.
As a World of Warcraft Stockholm Syndrome victim, I have some Asmongold lore if you want to.
Yeah, we love
hear about
Asmon
it.
lore. What do you got?
So, I raided on his realm with his guild. Not in his guild, but we were the top guild in that realm. We poached players from his guild, shit like that. So,
Okay.
there's history. But yeah, he's pretty much always just been turbo dog shit at WoW, and it's not like, dude, he just farms in mountains and does transmog competitions, but like when he like credits himself for like raid leading when he literally didn't raid lead, and he would just talk muted in Discord to his stream to make it seem like he was raid leading. It was really funny to watch.
Based? Yeah, I've heard this before. Okay.
Yeah, and like the actual raid leaders at the time in the guild were Gitwiki and Incarnate, so
Okay.
Like he might have raid leaded earlier, but I have no idea. But I mean, yeah, and then like pretty much all of his fans are shit. The people that are still clinging on to the Asmon gaming credentials are just coping or have no idea like how bad Asmongold actually is at not just WoW but video games, even though it's been his hobby for like 20 plus years, which is kind of sad.
Damn. All right.
All right, that's it.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. Just the quick Asmon lore dump you can use next week if the Asmon viewers actually do colon.
Cool.
I'll keep it in mind.
Joe,
I love you.
he's gone.
Wait. Drag that out. Hold
Waiting.
on. I got to do a quick pokey slap.
I had an epiphany today about one of my most commonly asked questions: whether I'm Asian, why I have so many.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm ready for it.
I had an epiphany today about.
Oh, sorry. If you're not aware of this, I don't know why. Well, I guess I don't know. I can't get into this, but every girl in like in the 2010s era that was like an e-girl or online girl wanted to be Asian. So they all did like Asian-esque like makeup and foundation and the mannerisms and everything. Everybody wanted to be Asian or whatever. So it was just funny, like, oh, everybody's asking me if I'm Asian, if I really am. But okay, sorry.
I had an epiphany today about one of my most commonly asked questions: whether I'm Asian, why I have so many Asian friends. For starters, being in gaming and streaming, there is a really large Asian demographic, so it's a pretty easy assumption for people to make. On top of that, I found myself traveling a lot to China, and then the year before I traveled a lot to Paris, and I noticed it's because I just get along so well with the people there. In Paris, there are a lot of Middle Eastern, North African, and Arab people, my people, and then in China...
This has to be I take back everything I said about Pokey. This is probably the best crafted rage bait I have ever seen in my entire life. This might be the best rage bait I've ever seen in my entire life. I identify more. That sounded like a I don't even know if Fuentes is crafty enough to make a joke like that. I get along so well with my North African people that I love going to Paris.
My people.
Because that's all I see there are my people. I'm sorry.
Just get along so well with the people there. In Paris, there are a lot of Middle Eastern, North African, and Arab people, my people. And then in China, I just wound up having so many friends, and it made me think back to when I was young and realize that because I grew up with not a lot of North African people around me, I ended up relating and connecting so much more to people from Asian cultures as opposed to other Americans or Canadians, mainly because of shared cultures and values, and the fact that most of them were also immigrants like me and my family. So I also think people don't really guess that I'm Moroccan or North African because people don't know what a North African person looks like. So they can't guess that you are something that they have no concept of.
People have no idea because they don't even know what real North Africans... They don't even know what real North Africans look like. As I straighten my hair for 2 hours every single day to have the most white-friendly, Asian-friendly presenting hair possible. Go. Sorry. Okay, I'm done. That was a 10 out of 10 rage bait. That was probably one of the best Poke rage baits I've ever seen. Go.
Strophium, welcome. Strophium.
Oh, hey, sorry. I got one question. I kind of want to rehash the Tulsi Gabbard thing. So you kind of swayed me with your argument yesterday, but one thing I'm curious about is that she wouldn't outright, like you said, she kind of she put it on Trump at the end, but the way she did it, it seems kind of like she got the worst of both worlds. Like she kind of looked bad in front of Congress as well as threw Trump under the bus. Is there a strategic reason for that? Because I feel like if she went hard in condemning Trump, she would lose her job, but she would save her career.
I don't know if she would have a career to save.
Yeah, maybe not. But it just seems like she chose the net worst option.
Well, I mean, why can't we just view that she did what she thought was right here? I just don't know what... knowing what I know of Tulsi Gabbard and her positions, it seems like, why do we have to have some weird conspiracy to explain? Or I guess, what do you think? What is your suggestion for what do you think she was saying or what was going on?
Well, the impression that I got, and I think the impression that a lot of people at the hearing got, was that she was going out of her way to not say that Trump acted in a way that was counter to the intelligence.
She was... I just don't... I think in order to say that, I think you just had to not listen to the thing. Like I think
she said it in so many words,
well,
but
she
she
was
seemed
literally
weaselly.
saying, like, in the very beginning of Osop's line of questioning, like Osop asked, "Did you obliterate Iran's nuclear capabilities?" Yes. Like, when they, like, these were very clear, concise, direct answers to all of these questions, and then she refused to say ever. She never gave the answer that the intelligence community like said there was some imminent threat from Iran. Like she'd said that, and then she even went, and then the fact that she even said that Israel and the U.S. have different goals in this war.
That was crazy.
I mean, it feels like that's a lot. I don't know how much more you want, other than her coming out and literally saying, "F Trump, he did this shit on his own." Suck shit.
I don't think I've ever seen a world leader, or not world leader, a leader in the administration ever answer that way. Of like, yeah, the person that we're in a war with, have completely different goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she said about as much as
I guess maybe I got to watch the whole thing again, but like the thing that is just weird to me is why would she go up to that point, like to the precipice, and not say, yeah, we told him there was no threat, no imminent threat, and he did it anyway.
Well, she said that though, right?
In so many words, yeah.
She said that the whether or not it's an imminent threat or whatever is solely up to the president to determine. So that's her explicitly saying that they didn't make that determination.
Sure, I guess.
Well, it is.
Maybe this is my autism. I feel like there's
explicitly saying they did not make that determination, right? And the president made that determination on his own without the ICMA.
But the Weasley portion is that it is her job to make that determination.
Of course it is, but everybody knows that, right? Of course they all know that, which I think is stronger proof that, like, well, yeah, the president must have, for whatever reason on his own, decided this. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't she kind of f***ing herself in that regard, where at best she's coming across like she doesn't understand her own job?
Well, she kept trying to go back to the thing where she said that she's going to keep her own opinion out of it. That apparently she said when she got confirmed.
Well, her political opinions, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what she kept trying to go back to.
Okay, maybe this is my autism. So you're saying that, like, her presentation of it unbiased is she's trying to eliminate any language that might include her frustration with the situation.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
I can get behind that. Yeah, where she's trying to not like poison the well of like feeling like she was coming at it with like the perspective of Trump being the enemy. So trying to let like the facts stand on their own, but maybe there's no good way to say it. Maybe I would be complaining about it either way. I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like if she explicitly came out and said this was all Trump, we didn't do any of this, then everybody would be like, oh, she's just trying to save her own.
Yeah.
100%.
It's a tough spot, actually. Okay.
I think I originally came away with what you came away with, Sophian, but then I did rewatch it with Steve, I guess, a little bit. And
yeah.
I do feel when you watch it again, she is condemning the administration a lot more than it originally felt like. And it's a really weird one that I think you have to rewatch because I don't think I've ever seen anyone condemn the administration.
Yeah, because now that I'm replaying it and I'm trying to like substitute things that she could say, there's always going to be some kind of spin. She get kind of put in a shitty position.
Also, I don't know if I've seen, like, I don't think I have especially good media, whatever, because I don't watch as much as a lot of the other mainstream commenters do. I probably watch quite a bit less. And I don't know if I've heard any other person give the takes that I'm giving, so I could be wrong in there. I would hedge against it that way because it's not like I would have some special insight. I just feel like the statements she made were fucking crazy to me, but I don't know. Maybe somebody else has and I just haven't seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch and I'll let you know if I still come up with the same opinion. But I think you might have swayed me.
Good, I guess. Have fun.
All right, that's all.
You got at least 3 minutes.
Oh
no, I'm good. Right, cool. I yield.
You'll yield your time. Good.
Yeah. All right, peace out.
Have a good one.
Wait, that heal, is he gonna actually heal? That's a joke, right?
Yeah, he does.
Like fully? Wait, like fully?
Not a full.
He's not gonna heal not in my game. Fuck you.
I got something kind of left field. How familiar are you guys with Jehovah's Witnesses?
I'm pretty familiar from being from Ohio.
What the fuck does being from Ohio have to do? Bitch?
We have a lot of witnesses.
So something kind of interesting is happening recently. I think with a lot of religion in general, there's been a downward trend in participation across the board. But Jehovah's Witnesses have kind of have a different sort of hurdle from more established religions. It's newer, and part of the doctrine is to be completely separate from man's world. Completely, you don't participate in politics. The man's government is bad. You only put your faith and your stock in God's future kingdom. So they don't have any like political influence. They don't have any. They have no motion outside of their small little circle.
Okay.
And part of
Romney
it is
Mormon?
also. Yeah.
Say again?
Oh, sorry.
No,
We're
no,
talking about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, I was just testing you. You weren't paying attention. You shut up. Go ahead. Keep going.
My bad. I'll be better. Another thing is you can't be like culturally a Jehovah's Witness the way you can be like a Catholic. You can still identify as a Catholic, even though you don't do all the Catholic stuff. That's not what Jehovah's Witness is. You either are or you aren't. You're going to the meetings, you're doing the whole thing, or you're part of the world. You're bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a downward trend in participation across the board, like all religions. They have these additional hurdles, and then COVID happens, and they implement. I don't know if other religions did this, but they did. You could join the meetings through Zoom, and that was like a death nail to a large swath of the participation because they are struggling hardcore with getting people to come in post COVID because of the convenience Zoom call-ins are. And it has been just a downward spiral. So much so, it's bleeding into some of these new understandings of time-tested teachings. The most famous one that most people are familiar with is the blood transfusion thing. I think you mentioned that on a TV show you're watching.
Oh yeah, I've seen House and I've seen The Pit, and they have.
All right, what's the question? Let's get to it.
Not really a question. It's just kind of interesting. They just recently announced that they've reevaluated this time-old rule, and now they've adjusted it to where you can take blood under very strict circumstances, and this has caused like a big kind of upset towards a lot of the congregations because a lot of people suffered decades worth of hardcore medical issues avoiding blood transfusions, and now when it kind of seems like you guys are struggling to get people to come into the hall, you're all of a sudden making it a lot easier. There's a ton of other really interesting ways that they're updating their beliefs, where I haven't spoken to my mother in like almost 20 years because I'm disfellowshipped. But a couple years ago, they updated a rule. Actually, now you can talk to disfellowship people, and you should hardcore suggest that they come back to the Kingdom Hall. There's all kinds of really, really interesting things happening. I don't know. I can't imagine that the religion's going to be gone at any time soon. There's supposedly 8 million people worldwide, but kind of interesting. It just happened a couple days ago. Thought you might kind of cool.
Okay.
All right, that was it.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Wow.
We may institute a rule in the future. I don't know. I haven't
What,
decided
Mouton?
yet.
What? Yeah, tell us how you're gonna fuck everyone over.
You might have to ask your question in the first 30 seconds versus take a 5-minute.
Wait, why? I'm not trying to attack anybody, and I love everybody. I love everybody evenly.
Go ahead.
But why does you notice how everybody does that?
Come in to just tell you a bunch of shit and then leave?
But like it's not just here. Like if you have like every time I'm on stage or when you see like BlizzCon, whenever people get to the microphone to ask a question, they tell like a 4-minute story.
Yeah, maybe. It hasn't clocked it until now, so.
You haven't
watch out
noticed
for
that?
it.
Okay.
Well, I haven't watched like a ton of your stuff, but
Not
I'll
me.
be watching
Everything. It's everything where people can go up to ask a question.
They usually do like a short preamble and then get to their question.
A short preamble?
Yeah, I'd say short.
You're wrong, and you're lying.
All right. New rule added. I agree with Steve. You have to ask your question within 30 seconds.
Clav called me cool. Hold on. I need to see this.
When in reality, there's just some underlying thing that he values way more than you do. And you can have a discussion about that thing. Is it actually a good idea to value this as much as possible? But I don't know if any of the conversations he's ever had ever actually get to that point. Instead, it's just like that question that threw him for a curveball earlier. when Andrew was like, he was talking about like, what are things that can help you, I think, look better or whatever, or something in high school or something like that. And then Andrew's like, well, what about like not meeting people? And, or like boys not going out and talking to friends or something like that. And Clavicular was like, I'm just talking about like growing your growth plates and shit, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, legit. Dude, I don't know. It's kind of comical because I guess like the SNL skits and stuff kind of just make the whole thing into a meme culture when I'm being like fully serious. Like, I don't know if people think it's a joke or anything. Oh, Eddie gave me 100 gifted. Holy.
They're not connecting dots. They're just trying to recommend.
Somebody said he calls him cool.
Incels or whatever.
Hold on.
Jesus.
How are you going to be a looks maxer and a snot gurgler? Not acceptable. That was a critical oral loss. Sorry, just kidding.
A joke or anything? Oh, Eddie gave me 100 gifted. Holy.
They're not connecting dots. They're just trying to recommend.
Playing it again.
Incels.
Well, I
or what about
rewinded, sorry.
misogyny, or what about whatever, like kind of whatever things that he would associate the what he believes or believes Clavicular has with other communities or society. I don't know this Clavicular guy. Like, he doesn't come off and he's not stupid, and I don't think I've seen him give any take where I'm like, man, that's just retarded. But he has a value around this looks maxing thing. This is the thing I would argue with, that maybe there's not a good fixation, or it's not healthy to fixate on this thing for some reason.
I should have
to
used
just like
Whirlwind.
ask a bunch of other questions to see if you can show any other leaks he has. I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, for real. I won't engage your question if I don't have any authority on that subject. I just won't engage it whatsoever.
Somebody say call me cool. I'm not watching this for 20 minutes to see this.
Like when someone asked me about...
I just wanted to be accepted by the younger generation.
You ready?
Sodium
free.
Ready.
Go ahead.
How interested are you in like actually learning how like healthcare and healthcare claims work? Because every time there's like a crazy amount of misinformation.
God damn it! I'm wasting 2 potions on this because of you. What do you want to say?
No, it's just like whenever anyone comes in, like they always say shit like they don't know what a procedure code is. They don't know like what a diagnosis code is, how those things affect like how you get billed out, or how those things are even like structured.
Are you a pharmacist guy or a doctor or an insurance guy or what?
I work for I'm a data engineer for healthcare companies. So all the data that goes through data.
I'm just fucking sorry.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay.
You're good.
Go ahead.
So like you'll have someone come through, like the whole structure is like you'll have an insurance company that makes a like a contract with a hospital, and all of the things that you go into the hospital for is already determined and prepaid based on like what they can do and what they can't do, based on like your procedure codes and what your diagnosis codes and stuff are. Okay. So like when you go into the hospital, let's say you're going in for like some sort of cancer, and the doctor goes, okay, you're overweight, you have this sort of cancer, and how they bill it out. There's already like a set script for how they're going to treat you.
Yeah,
so
this is like standard. What the standard of care is probably going to be what the insurance company roughly covers. And there's probably going to be things that will change based on age and patient history and all that. That's all like based on preset, yeah.
Exactly. And all of that stuff kind of gets like rolled up when you make a contract with the hospital, and the hospital already knows all this stuff. So when those like everyone's fighting with like, oh, the insurance company, like they just want to like make as much money. The hospital also wants to make as much money, and like they have these things already built into like their initial contracts with these insurance companies. Like all that's already done. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is like when you have an insurance company that is talking to these hospitals, they have doctors, like tons of clinical staff that determine what the right set of care for like 90% of patients are. And then you go through from there. So like you'll hear stuff where people will say like, oh, you need a prior auth for that, prior authorization. It's something like, we think that might be valuable, but you have to go through these steps first. And people just lose their mind when that kind of stuff happens. There are like, I'm not saying like it's a perfect system, and there are edge cases where these things are bad, but I was just curious how much of like a write-up, because I was thinking of doing one either for the sub or for you, like would be interested, like how deep you would like to get into that kind of stuff for when you have those conversations.
Probably not at all. I hate talking about healthcare because it's just
that's fair.
I think the thing is that like the Chesterton's fence post bullshit or whatever, or is it the fence?
Yeah.
As I've gotten older and wiser, like one of the things I've realized is like it's very rare that I encounter some complex system and can solve it instantly. Like I'll see some system, like when I'm 21, I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. You could just remove like 80% of this and you'd be so much better. But like generally as you get older, like you realize like, okay, like I know why this exists and I understand why this has to be here and I get why this has to be here. It's like, okay, fuck. If you want to change it, you can, but it's a lot harder and it's not quite as straightforward as people think. And I feel like every part of the healthcare process, there's like 20 different stupid assumptions built into healthcare related stuff. So for instance, I fundamentally, genuinely believe that most Americans think that there are enough resources to give everybody like top tier healthcare in the United States. I think most Americans genuinely believe that the only reason why everybody isn't getting the best cancer screening, the best treatments, the best everything is just because they don't have money. And there's like basically doctors like idly sitting by with patients that don't have money to be treated. I think most Americans think that, number one. Number two, I'm not trying to attack a particular person or a particular job class, but doctors, because of their job, doctors they're like emergency services in cities, and that they are unimpeachable. You can never question or attack a doctor's motives. So did you follow the big drama with when the anesthesiologists came out and they were saying that insurance companies are telling us that we can't give our patients enough anesthesia? Did you follow this at all?
Yeah, and I watched with you, and this is one of the things that brought me on that I was infuriating.
So
because they just have no idea.
Yeah, the most compensated doctors in the entire United States were upset because insurance companies felt like, and I think there had actually been evidence that anesthesiologists will kind of like overbill insurance companies sometimes, and there were new guidelines that the insurance companies wanted to issue, but these were not guidelines that were like, if your patient is waking up in surgery, good, fuck them. It was just like, we think you guys are probably giving them a little bit too much. You're probably overbilling a bit too much here. Like, let's bring these things in line. But because it's insurance companies versus doctors, insurance companies are always losing in the public eye there because they're just like the devil demons or whatever. And sometimes hospitals will get hit, but people will always be clarifying like, well, it's the hospital administration, but never doctors, never nurses, never those people ever. Those people are unimpeachable. Even though these guys are compensated sometimes 2 times as much as competing doctors in other countries, first world countries, Western OECD countries across the planet. There's that. And then there's one thing also, there's just so much weird stuff about healthcare. Like the problem is that like, if I go in and I want to buy, let's say that I want to go into a restaurant, I want to buy a steak and I can either get the $190 tomahawk from the best chef in the city or whatever, or I can get like a $19 steak from Denny's. Well, if I only have money for the $19 steak, at least I'm still getting a steak. Fuck it, I'll buy the $19 steak. But if I have to choose between the $19 insulin and the $190 insulin, well, me, are you saying that my life, my quality of life is degraded because I don't have enough money? And that creates this weird thing where when the next best thing comes out, now when $400 insulin is out, all the people before that were like, I'm so glad this $190 insulin exists, but if they can't afford the $400 insulin, now they're like, I can't believe this. My life is being destroyed because of capitalism. And it's like, well, the other shit didn't even exist before. Like, what the fuck? These complaints, the subject matter I'm most familiar with is around diabetes and insulin because it's just so crazy for all how people are just so insane about all that because healthcare creates a certain amount of entitlement, which I empathize with, obviously. The idea that like this person can't afford like the best thing and it is like directly correlated with their quality of life or sometimes years lived. Like I'm definitely sympathetic towards that, but it goes back to the thing I said before where I think most Americans, 50% plus, believe that there are enough resources in the healthcare system to give every single person the top tier quality of care, and that's just not the case. And but like there are so many of these assumptions that if you were to push on even one of like 5 bad assumptions that Americans have on healthcare, like the conversation just completely falls apart immediately, and it's impossible to have any of it.
Yeah, it's just infuriating when some of the people come in and they like talk to you and they don't have like just like an inkling of like how the system actually works, and like they just see like, oh, doctors are like the shining hill or the shining beacon on the hill, and it's some of these doctors are absolutely terrible people.
Sure.
And they're terrible to work with, but I'll let you go. I was just curious if that's what you wanted. If you do get into healthcare stuff,
one thing. I mean, if you ever want to comment on it, you can always. I'll give you permission. You can jump in and scream at people. But it's. I mean, if you've ever. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 38 right now.
Gotcha. Okay. I will say. Oh, cool. I'm 37. I used to have a friend that is a Candace Owens lover now, so we're no longer friends. But she used to work on the what would it be? I think she worked for an insurance company where her job was basically she would sit at her computer all day, and then she would get a script would come in from a doctor, and it would have the patient history attached. And generally, it's just her reading through. Actually, maybe her job doesn't even exist anymore. Maybe AI does this now. But she would read through everything that's sent, and then she would just have to approve the prescription or whatever. And then I've had friends that are doctors, nurses. Every single person I know that works in healthcare hates every other like parallel or like vertical part of healthcare. So everybody I know that's worked in insurance will tell me like doctors will send the most retarded scripts sometimes that they know either we don't support or it's way outside standard of care or they haven't tried these other things yet that they have to first. And then doctors will complain like the insurance company is telling me what to do and I know best because I'm the doctor and fuck these people. And then the hospitals will complain that everything costs too much from the pharmacy. Like every single person in healthcare hates every single other like vertical part of their industry, which is very funny to me too. And yeah, but doctors are the only like unimpeachable ones. Yeah.
That's by design. And that's like, they want to put as much friction in between each of those steps for like competitiveness. Sorry.
Arguably, yeah. But it's hard because a lot of that is transparent to us, and it's not a good industry to feel competitive on because we just have. And again, I sympathize with this. It doesn't feel good to like that you're competitively shopping for your life. You know, like that's just never a good feeling. Or even the idea that like insurance companies have to value life, like literally, like the life like that you might get if you sue somebody for wrongful death or whatever, and that's just a very uncomfortable thing for a lot of people to deal with, especially because in America we have a very bad. We have a very bad relationship with death, especially. Yeah.
Well, that's one of those things that like Obamacare was trying to solve, like with the like stars measures versus fee for service, which is another part of healthcare that people don't understand. Is a lot of people, especially in Medicaid, get assigned for like a healthcare provider will just get X amount of money a year to take care of you, and it's their job to do the best that they can, like. For that, and the better ratings they are, that kind of stuff, it gets really in depth. But like those are the different kind of like models and stuff that are set up, and like it's just I don't know, it drives me crazy when people jump in. And yeah, I apologize, but that's all I wanted to say. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Be careful, bud.
Bye.
Flame Z, go ahead. What's your question?
I was wondering if you would ever be interested in covering different countries' politics.
I mean,
you just did the UK recently. Would you ever do like Canada since Moot is there?
What? I mean, I don't know. Not that much, maybe. Like, what about I mean, I live in my country. I barely cover my own country's politics enough. What would I cover? I mean, if there's big stuff going on, sometimes I'll cover it a little bit, but
yeah, it's like recently there was the big Carney speech that was slightly covered.
What, the Davos one?
Yeah. And that was a good speech. Kind of sets the mood of the world also.
Yeah, I mean, we watched it, I think, right? And we talked about it a little, yeah. But I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, I agree with most of what he says. Yeah. The problem is that, like, these are interesting conversations to have where there are two sides to the conversation, but there's not really another side right now because the right is just so retarded. Like, what the most interesting point that he brought up in that speech, which is really true, is the idea that the rules-based international order that everybody had to subscribe to was a bit of a fiction because the U.S. doesn't really, and we kind of hope the U.S. keeps itself accountable. But we've seen like the explosion of that system, especially recently, where we realize the U.S. or regional powers definitely don't adhere to the same rules-based international order that everybody else was adhering to. So it was a bit of a fiction, and now it's been completely blasted as a fiction, so they need to figure out like a way forward from there. Like, these are interesting concepts, but there's nobody in politics to talk about any of this shit now with because everybody's retarded. I blame Trump.
Oh, okay. So you would want somebody to do a back and forth with.
Well, I'm sorry. When I say somebody, I don't mean like a person to argue with or debate personally. I mean like a political opposition to argue with. Like in MAGA is a deeply unserious movement that is plagued with bad intellectual genetic stock, with people that should have been bred out of society because of how fucking they are. I feel the same way with reform in the UK right now. I don't know if I felt as harshly about Pierre Olivier or whatever. I remember hearing him a few times speak. Whatever the
he switched his name to get more votes that pronounce it French.
Sure.
Polly is retarded.
So yeah, I don't know. The whole populist shit is just so... Populism is just like such a brain rot. It's like such an obvious like bad guy narrative in any movie, media, history, everything. But I don't know how many people follow this shit, whatever.
I mean, one of the only good things Trump's ever done is actually influence the Canadian election to have Carney win.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice result I got to live through. Yeah. Okay. No, it was mainly that since Canada's being a bit more in the spotlight recently. I know it's hard and a bit boring to look at, but sometimes the Canadian politics, if ever you want to have fun, there's like compilation of like not debates, but how they scream each other, how our prime ministers scream at each other during parliament sessions.
In Canada?
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
they do
nobody
that in
can
Bongo
look
politics,
at
It's
it.
like
but-
it's like the UK
Sure.
system.
Yeah. It's televised, but nobody cares about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Good cue.
Have fun.
Thomas,
Aquinas.
what's your question?
Hi.
I have one political thing, and then I have one non-political thing. I'm a YouTuber. I have a clipped video that I think Destiny should upload to his best of channel because I want to delete it off my channel.
Jesus.
And the political thing is that I wanted to ask his opinion about a housing policy.
Send the YouTube video to 10-minute ads on Discord, and then you can.
Wait,
ask
the
your
YouTube video is about, you said about housing policy?
No. The video is basically a clip compilation from your channel, like covering like around the manosphere time. It got like 144,000 views.
Okay.
He wants to delete it on his channel and give you.
And what channel did you say to put it in?
Give it to 10-minute ads.
Do the 10-minute ads.
That's a person's name. You'll just have to DM him.
That's what you sound like.
Oh, okay.
All right, ask him your question when you're ready.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, just do that later.
Oh, I'm on stream.
Yeah. Wait, are you a standing? Wait, why does your shirt say pink but it's blue?
Oh, you know the answer to that. Pink Floyd.
Oh, I thought it was the pink brand. Oh, I see the thing. Never mind. Okay. Okay, cool. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead. Are you standing? Do you have a standing desk?
Yes, I got it for cheap on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. Wait, what's your YouTube channel?
It's my name, Thomas Skeen. So I'm basically, like, you could categorize me in the same folder in your head as the soy pill. I do liberal political video essays. My most recent one, I was so pissed off about how terrible all the discourse was around Gavin Newsom that I wanted to just make a good faith criticism of him. But it's clickbait, so it's called Blue MAGA. It's doing pretty good so far. It's at like 50K views.
Yeah. Considering the subs on your channel, yeah, for sure, 100%. And the last video you did 116K. Nice. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Gavin Newsom. So basically around like the 2022, I think the video was finished in 2023. I was just trying to grow my channel because at that point I had like no following. So I basically went through a bunch of your videos and like took like motifs, like people calling you a girl or the polygamy stuff, because it was just basically stuff that was like memes at the time. So I want to delete that video off my channel, because I think it'll improve the odds of me getting approved for monetization. Long story short, I've applied multiple times, and I've been denied for, quote, reused content. So I want to delete it off my channel, but I still want it to be hosted somewhere. I don't need you to credit me or anything. I just want it to be somewhere, so I thought maybe the Clips channel would be good.
Okay, yeah. Message my guys. Wooten will direct you to them.
And I also wanted to say thank you so much for your sourcing for the first-hand sources on January 6th, because that was the video that really blew up my channel, because I actually got a shout out from Soy Pill for the January 6th video. That it's at almost 500,000 now, but like I didn't want to sit through the whole January 6th committee to get all the information from that, so there was a lot of really helpful sources that I was able to pull from your research.
Cool. Okay.
I'm glad somebody could make a video about January 6th then.
Good one.
Yeah, I like after Trump got elected, I was like really pissed off that you hadn't released your January 6th video yet. So I basically just decided to do it on my own.
Good job. I'm glad I can inspire people. That was the whole point. And same thing with Short Fat Otaku. I knew that if I didn't release one, even more videos would be released. So yeah.
Oh, you're like the guy in Star Wars when you strike him down.
Something like that.
I actually it really pissed me off how much people talk about the debate not mattering thing, because like the thing that really radicalized me to start making political videos was listening to it was like soon after I think they tried to kill Trump, you had a debate with like this Canadian person, and like she called you terminally online because you had just like read through the Trump indictments. and it just pissed me off so much, like how much the media environment's destroyed. So I just figured like, okay, I'll be the change I want to see in the world. So I started making these videos that are more based on empirical facts instead of speculation and narrative building.
Well, good. Cool.
Whatchamacallit. There's also the video that I was asking you to upload. There is another version of it that's only exists on Kick, which I can re-edit it. But it got taken down off YouTube for like, there was like some Fuentes clips in there or something that they deleted it off my channel. But since you have a bigger channel, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be an issue, but the other one is a safer one.
Okay.
Considering it isn't down off my channel.
All right, what's your housing question?
Also,
so
wait, real quick, pause the timer for 1 second.
Yep,
I'm not going to take any damage, right? There's no damage taking things I have,
No,
right?
I should take the gambit, because if you fuck it up anyways, you're already cooked. Like, if that doesn't help you.
Well, but I don't have a thing that's automatically like lose 1 life or something stupid.
Oh,
right.
I would take it. Yeah,
okay,
you're good.
Go ahead. Housing question.
Fine. Go ahead.
Oh, so it's obviously I'm not like a policymaker, so I don't have it all like fleshed out, but like it doesn't really matter because with Trump, the only policy matters is like the slogan that you can get out of it. So in my too old video, I proposed this idea of just taking the military budget and cutting it down to Russia, Germany, and China combined, so that we're still the biggest in the world.
True.
And then that leaves us with like hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars left over.
Wait, I'm sorry, hold on. Can you, because Prying Mind just joined to tell me that I'm a retard.
Wait, is it not just that?
You gotta just F4, you gotta reset it.
Leave. Sorry. It's all combat. I'm sorry. Repeat the last thing where that guy came in. You me.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Repeat.
Russia. Yeah, we added more time to the clock because I was incredibly rude and unprofessional.
I was just wondering, like, what do you think about the idea of the federal government, like, throwing hundreds of billions of dollars to try to build more houses?
I think it could theoretically be based. I just don't know. I don't think the issue is not money. The issue is zoning. It's a policy question.
Okay, so maybe the solution would be more like a federal commission that's like meant to go state by state and help them reform their policies to make housing easier.
Yeah, I just don't know what that would look like. But like the issue is that right now, as much as it makes people mad, like the free market deals with housing pretty effectively. If you zone for houses, developers will come in and they will build houses and it'll be fine. But the issue, it's a zoning question. We don't need to throw a bunch of federal money at it. We just need we need somehow to force like zoning to happen. But that's just such a deep question in that there's just a lot of different factors at play here. So for instance, like you have to, there's a lot of bad assumptions built into housing. So I've said this before. So like most people live in owned homes. If you want to bring down rents and you want to bring the cost of housing, you have to hurt one of your most important voter populations in the United States because their home prices will decrease. The value of the middle class person's home will decrease, which will hurt their net worth and their overall wealth and all this bullshit. So you have to be willing to accept that first thing. Secondly, you've got to do aggressive zoning, and not everybody likes upzoning. Like there are people that don't want there to be high-rise apartments, or they like the small apartments with only 5 stories if you've ever lived in Southern California, or they don't want the new development near their neighborhood because they don't want to lose the character of it. So there's just so much, there's so many different types of like cultural and governmental inertias that you have to fight against that I don't even know if the money part matters that much. This is very much like if you zone it, they will come and build, and I think it'll largely take care of itself. Or if there are problems, we have to discover them down the road, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mouton, you are top 3 orbiters of all time.
Thank you.
Obama,
yes.
Have a good one.
Top 3 orbiters of all
Remember
time?
us when you're famous, okay?
Thank you, appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Well, now I need to, hold on, get this guy out of here.
They're gone.
I need to read an email to counter that.
Oh, good.
I got this one 4 days ago. I didn't want to read this out loud, Mouton, but now I will. To f you. Especially because you didn't help me read that card. Wait, if I Alt F4, will it restart this combat?
I think it will, yeah.
Is that unethical? Is Alt F4
no, because
here
that card is red. It makes it only seem like it's that red.
The title for this email, the subject line was, Mr. Mouton is ruining your streams.
Let's go.
This is from a guy whose first name I won't read. It's because it's unique. Just thought you should know that. The few dozen fans you have that know him from back in the day might like it, but anyone who joined in the last 5 years doesn't. He adds nothing. He asks questions to which he already knows the answer, agrees with literally everything you say, and says shrimp-a-laz over and over. Just look at your viewer count when he's there versus not. He may be your old friend, but to us, he's a weird, clingy orbiter. At least when Dan hovers around in your Discord, he only speaks when spoken to and doesn't just say shit over and over. He's already using you for his own morning show since the RP money dried up. What is the RP money? Roleplay money?
I guess, but
yeah.
I never
Stop.
streamed
No,
roleplay.
don't interrupt his email.
Oh, sorry.
Why does he have to monopolize every single morning and then on top of that, just linger in your stream the rest of the day? Does he literally have nothing else going on? There's a reason your concurrents have halved since he came back. Sure, the boring art content has something to do with it, but I firmly believe it's him. When did the normal streams permanently add a co-host? ?
Why is Dan sending email?
True. Okay.
I mean, what the hell?
Okay. Did they say I can?
I mean, true. What do you want me to say?
People say I can just escape and save and quit. That's not even. That's not even
I
save
would not
scumming.
save and quit.
That's not save scumming though. That's legit play.
I would alt F4.
Why? They said if you save and quit, it's good.
Crazy.
Okay, go. Who's next?
All right. Crusade, go ahead.
Good one. Good one, Crusade, by the way.
Crusade?
Good one, dude.
5.
Oh,
4.
wait. Sorry,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I apologize. I didn't even know I was on the lineup that quick. Hey, what's going on, Destiny? I got a couple questions, nothing too crazy. I haven't really heard too much about this, like in the recent like political sphere. Do you put any validity, like maybe in the thought that I hear a lot about like Trump suspending elections and stuff like that. Do you think there's a possibility, like if Iran continues on, like the war in general, that maybe potentially the elections could be suspended, at least the midterms? Because like I put like a half-ass like little research bit into it, but it does seem like there is some kind of possibility with that. I don't know. What is your thought on that?
I mean, it shouldn't be, but I mean, like, it's all going to come down to the SAVE Act and what he's going to try to do with ICE or whatever. But I mean, theoretically, it shouldn't. That shouldn't happen. I don't know what I'm going to say. I mean, like, he wants to. He definitely wants to. But there's a huge issue with the lack of institutional strength the current admin has and they're so retarded. This is not going to kill me, right? If you take damage. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
My bad. Yeah, I get that. I understand. I don't know. Like, it was just like a thought, because it seems like all these steps are put into place for a specific reason and some kind of result. I don't know if that's like some kind of conspiratorial like thought process there.
Well, no, it's not conspiratorial. I mean, we're
talking we're talking months from now.
Yeah, they've said.
So
they literally
could
said
that even be
this is what Trump wants to do. It doesn't matter if he's going to do it, right? But I don't think that they have the institutional knowledge to do it. That's why I don't think they'll be able to. That's my perspective.
I've got an interesting question off this, and I will pause your time. Do you think the SAVE Act would actually hurt Republicans more than Democrats this election?
It's like possible, but it would be such a hard thing to predict.
Yeah, I do kinda. I agree. It's hard to predict. Almost impossible, probably.
Because you could make the argument that like Democrats are going to be so motivated to vote that no matter what you do to try to stop them, they're going to show up to vote anyway. But that any kind of like demotivating thing for Republicans, the Republicans are already ultra demotivated for a variety of reasons. Yeah. Also, one thing, because there was research on this a long time ago, 4 or 8 years ago. I don't remember which election I was reading about. But like if somebody wants to vote, it's actually really hard to discourage a person from voting unless you obscure it. That like people are generally willing to go to a polling place and wait for 6 hours, even if the line is long. That doesn't turn a lot of people away. The stuff that turned people away would be if you like remove them from a voter roll and they weren't aware of it, and then they like miss the time to register, because some places you can't register same day, and if you don't register,
but that only turns them away because they have no ability to
vote.
That's
why I said with obscured. Yeah, so if you obscure it, but if you're just trying to throw up barriers and people see them, like that, if they really want to vote, they will. If they want to vote, they'll still vote, generally speaking. Yeah. So, but I don't know, it's possible. Yeah.
They'll bitch about it, but yeah. All right, sorry, your time's back. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, so I have like one other question, and this won't take too much of your time, hopefully. So this kind of ties into the political landscape thing too. I'll be honest. I watch a lot of different things. I've watched your show for like a long time, so I also watch a little bit. I'm not full on in with like the Zionist control the entire world bit. I understand it. Like it makes sense in my head in some types of ways. So like obviously like I'll listen to Nick Fuentes on occasion or like Sean Ryan, and it seems to be like popping up a little bit more and more recently, like some kind of blame for whatever's going on, and like, oh, Iran, the Jews and Israel and all these different things. And in my head, I'm like, well, if this all backfires, and let's say, God forbid, we fail in whatever like terms during this special operation, quote unquote, who's to blame? Like who are the Republicans or who is the U.S. going to blame? Are they going to blame Trump, or are they going to tie that into the Jews in America and Israel, and now we got to round them up like it's like Nazi Germany or some shit? Like does that make any kind of sense, or is that just kind of like conspiratorial a little bit?
In terms of like, could we take a hard bend towards like anti-Semitism?
Well, not even so much that, just I'm thinking like a couple years in the future, right? Like, let's say all this goes, and we're talking the next political environment, and people are thinking, okay, we're going towards the totalitarian state, and Trump is going to suspend elections, and whoever's going to take over is going to be worse than him in some type of way or something like that.
Okay.
Who are the people that they're going to scapegoat to? Are they going to scapegoat to the Jews, like the alt-right or whoever it might be that's in power, God forbid?
Yeah.
Who are they going to blame?
It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like impossible, I think, to predict that. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, if we look at like the past like year and a half, how many people have they tried to scapegoat, right? We got Venezuelans bringing fent. We've got Canadians not securing the northern border. We had Haitians eating dogs. We had Muslims in general. We had Islamic extremism from Mamdani. We had pro-Palestinian Hamas terrorists that were against Israel protesting on college campuses. We've had Somali people from Minnesota. They've tried to scapegoat, like they were jumping from group to group to group to group to group, like in an insane pace. So.
Without taking accountability, right? Like, so, like, who is really ultimately to blame? It would obviously be the president and whoever's his handlers, or if he has any handlers, who is he listening to, and so on and so forth, right?
Who do we have to blame? Oh, like, who should we blame?
Yeah, who should we blame? Obviously, you should blame the person that's in charge.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would say that for sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. For whatever reason, that's the main reason that I kind of called, and I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit. Obviously, you got like a lot of resources, and you put a lot of time into this. I didn't really put too much effort into this. I'm gonna be honest. All right, skipping all those. That's the end of my questions. I got one gaming question for you.
Go for it.
Do you ever play DayZ by any chance, or have you ever?
Have we? Yeah, a long time ago we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I was big into that for a while. It's obviously not like very like stream worthy, because like I see you playing like looter shooters, like what you've been playing lately. So like I thought maybe that would be something that you would be interested in or something like that. But yeah, obviously if you've played it before, it's a totally different environment. It's not very stream friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah,
trust me,
I appreciate the words, man. Have a good day.
Yeah. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Wait.
Right.
God
Oh,
damn
he's
it,
gone.
Brody.
I didn't kick him. He left.
No, you kicked him.
Chess. Go ahead, Chess. What do you got for us today? 10, 9.
We're good.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
My bad.
Chill,
How's it going
man.
today, guys?
Hi, what's up?
So the first thing I had is I wanted to speak a little bit to the experience of being a Canadian Destiny fan, a little bit more than the other guy.
Okay.
So I know that a lot of the world is like really interested in American politics because America is kind of like the cultural exporter of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But are you aware of the extent to which Canadians are like Ameriboos?
Yeah, I know JJ.
It's like huge. Like I feel like you should know like like I don't actually know that much about my own political system, but I could tell you
yeah.
all about the 3 branches of government, all about how all the congressmen are chosen, like all about that shit. Like I watch CBC every day, and all they talk about is what Trump did last. You know what I mean?
Love America.
It's kind of insane. Like it actually I had to go out of my way to learn how my own country works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the first thing I wanted to say is just like, I know that the Canadians are always going to be like a minor part of your audience, but like, if you ever did want to cater to them, they'd probably be super down. And if you did ever talk about Canadian politics, you'd probably be able to move some of them off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Like my parents literally have like a display case with Trump memorabilia in it. You know what I mean? Like I know people who will make excuses for the tariffs and say, well, Canada's been over America, so we deserve it. You know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable.
Sure. Yeah, the funniest thing I saw of this, I think, was I believe there was some. I need to go find pictures of this again. When you guys were doing your whole trucker convoy blockade in the West, I think some of those guys even had like American flag stickers on their trucks because they were so mad about wearing masks or whatever.
100%. They'll talk about the First Amendment as if it's something that applies to them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've I debate a lot on like Discord servers, and people will be like, "Why do you even care, Canadian?" And it's like, bro, my parents were literally citing Trump while they were supporting the trucker protests that your country supported. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's part and parcel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, cool. So you are aware of that?
Yeah, I am. I'm aware of
Freaking
everything.
based.
I know everything. But okay.
I believe it. I'm sure.
Well, thanks a lot, buddy.
One other thing.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about playing Minecraft again?
Maybe someday.
Well, you and all of your fans should know that there is a Destiny.gg Minecraft server that is epic, mcdgg.net. We have a lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of artists working on new stuff all the time. The server keeps on getting better. We got features. We got a dragon fight coming up tomorrow. Super cool shit. Everybody should join. It's a really good time.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for letting us know, buddy.
So long, fellas.
Bye.
What's going on in here?
Your mom.
Beer Collins. Hussein, go ahead.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Are you a tier 3 sub?
Well, I subbed just for this, and I don't.
Which sub did you do?
Was he in the tier 3 sub channel?
Yes, and he did a tier 2 sub. I saw that.
Wait, how did he get to the tier 3 sub
Okay,
channel?
listen. This is the thing. No, this is the thing. I'm notable, but I don't want to cut in front of long. I don't want to be a dickhead, but like a lot of people are taking long. Okay, you caught me, buddy.
Yeah.
Listen, I was defending you in chat. I love you, Mouton. Please.
All right, go ahead.
Wait, if I use plating right now, will I gain plating before his attack or not?
Plating, I believe you gain it at the end of the round before his attack.
Before his attack, at the end of my turn. Okay. All right, go ahead.
The end of your
turn.
Okay, so I was watching one of your videos. What are your problems with historical materialism as a theory to analyze history?
What? Say that
you got
again?
3 minutes.
What are your problems with historical materialism as a theory to analyze history? Like because you talked about this. You were watching a Vosh video, I'm pretty sure. And
I think it's it's a lens I guess you can use. It's very boring to me when people are very mono-dimensional or one. I don't know why I said that. One-dimensional in terms of how they think that they can like understand the entirety of some conflict through just like the lens of like one thing, I guess. So through a feminist lens or through a dialectic material lens or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I guess I would kind of agree with you, but you like for example, if you would look at the Arab Spring through like the lens of historical materialism, I think you can actually glean a lot of insight into like the inner workings of like Arab society. Like for example, I think like kind of like the economic like the wealth inequality inside Arab states. Wealth inequality inside Arab states could explain a lot of like the unrest, especially in Tunisia and Egypt and Tahrir Square. But I guess if like you don't have a strong opinion on it, I won't waste your time. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Much love. Love you guys.
Much
Bye-bye.
love. One love.
One love, dude. One love, Mouton.
Christy, 2708. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, Destiny.
Hi.
I'm the guy that has been bugging you with email that has downloaded the -50. I did so because what is in that email, it's like 24,000 words as counted by the Google, Microsoft Word counted it for me. It's like 40 pages long. And what that email is essentially ammunition. Like I gave you as much ammunition as possible about a lot of different topics. Like I go in detail about like Asmongold's shenanigans, because fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to see it as, I have been watching that guy since at least 2016, and I know a lot about how he thinks and how he sees things, and I have provided insight in that thing. By the way, if you want to read the email, like the only disclaimer that I've put in it is just maybe redact some of the more personal things that I have shared in it, because those are kind of meant only for your eyes. But I did extensively work at this email for like 3 to 4 months. And inside of that email, I also laid out things such as, for example, the rot that is plaguing America from my perspective, from the inside out, is something that I'm going to be honest, it needs to be addressed. I don't know how exactly one should go about addressing it, but individualism is like a very, very, how shall I say it? It's a very evident thing. If you are living in a country that is more like socialized or like whatever, there's this pervasive accent on got mine, fuck you. I've seen this a lot of times, and it comes in different forms. Like, for example, if I were to, like, I don't know, I kept seeing sometimes on r/all posts about, I don't know, someone wanting to win the lottery, and it's all just, I want you money, I want you money, I want you money. That is kind of not good. And I'm going to be honest, I think that type of individualism is how it branches out into fascism over and over and over again. So that is something that needs to be addressed, because that's, in my personal opinion, a very big component of why fascism is on the rise almost everywhere, because a lot of the countries here in Europe are also taking that individualistic approach. Like, I want mine and mine only. And those types of feelings need to be addressed. I would probably say not directly, because you want to do it subtly, because guess what? They also work with subtlety. Like, most of the inner workings of fascism, they're almost all indirect. Like, that's why, by the way, that's why there is no substantive.
What is your question?
I wanted to like lay out some of the things, like, for example, that individualistic thing. Like, in my personal opinion, I really think it should be focused a lot more. I don't see anyone express.
Sure, what is your question with it?
Why is it that it's not visible to most other people? If I'm going to be honest, like, why is it that, like, I don't know, I've seen it here and there, but no one else seems to pick up on it. Like, why is that? I mean, I think I know why that is, but
okay, Steve, go ahead.
Why is it that nobody else can see that super individualism can lead to bad things?
Well, that, and also why it's not addressed. I mean, I have my ideas of why it's not being addressed, but yes, that is essentially what I'm trying to say.
I mean, well, in America, we like our individualism, right? I mean, we see it as a big...
Yes, I know.
Boom.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, it's going to be hard. It would be hard for us to view, I guess, our individualism as through a negative light, would be my guess.
Yeah, but maybe you don't realize it, but that individualism is also why you have people saying, like, don't fund into, like, public healthcare or, like, public education. Like, it's that same exact individualism that shows up in a different form. It's still individualism.
Okay.
Because, like,
Steven?
Yeah. So what's your take on why you think that is?
Well, why I think that is because it's probably by design, usually by the wealthy, to keep people divided so that they don't end up working together to, like, elevate the living standards of the large swaths of people that deeply need it. And it's kept that way intentionally to keep you focused and distracted from attempting to work at that, and, well, to further their own goals. Like, that's what I think. That's what I personally think.
Steve?
About.
Yeah, I don't know if people could ever coordinate that much oppression. I feel like that would be a thing that would
Well, that's why you need to work subtly. Like, that's why you don't. If you ask anyone, why, what exactly do we need to make America great? What exactly needs to be fixed by the statement "Make America Great Again"? That's left ambiguous by intent. It's so that people fill in the blanks. It's so that they can join the larger. That's how they form the narratives. That's how these social media platforms that you say are coordinated coalesce. They leave it. It's ambiguous by design. That's why you can't never extract the words from the conservative people if you ask them what values do you want to protect. They leave it ambiguous so that as many people can ascribe what those expectations should be. That's how I see it.
Okay. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean well, I don't know how to gauge this. I don't think that people ever have as much control over all of society as they think they do. I feel like the mechanisms to explain why people have platforms the way they are, it's probably like the bad outcomes that result are probably more from understandable like underlying motivations that end up leading to bad places rather than people intentionally from the very beginning, trying to plan things out. So like, for instance, when a person doesn't give an actual prescription, I don't think it's because he's thinking like, I'm not going to give the prescription because I know people will fill in their own and then that'll help me take over society or blah, blah, blah. I think it's more just like, if I give a specific one, I'm going to have to defend that one. And it's easier to just allude vaguely to stuff because that's an easier position to defend. It's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, that is another possibility of this perspective. Like it's still at the end of the day, it's still all perspectives. But you also need to consider that there are some very intelligent people. Like I don't personally think that Trump is, for example, is a necessarily stupid person. He is hampered by his narcissistic ego. Like if he would have dropped his narcissistic ego and have learned from his mistakes, well, first of all, it will not be Trump the person anymore because Trump the person isn't the narcissistic egomaniac that he is. But most of his actions, like they are driven by his ego. Like that's what I have been able to conclude. Okay. So if he were to drop that, he would have appeared at the very least so much more, I don't know, intelligent, pragmatic, whatever you want to describe him as. But that is what, in my personal opinion, is keeping him back. Not necessarily the stupidity. Like that's besides the point. Like the most, prevalent. Characteristic of Trump to me seems to be that narcissistic ego that like actually keeps him from, like, for example, from getting out of Iran after the failure of the war, because his ego is at the cusp of being hurt. He does not want that whatsoever.
Okay, Steve, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is ego driven. Yeah, I think I've said that before. I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Christy. I have one question for you.
Yes.
Which channel in this Discord is your favorite to debate in?
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be able to tell you so because I'm keeping to myself.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm kind of antisocial, I guess. I'm kind of afraid. Like I actually had a cortisol level that is way past 180. As I was waiting to join in this discussion, like I'm kind of I don't know, always shy about discussing with people because I feel like what I have to say impacts them, so I have to be very careful with what I say. And
I mean, you should be in the DGG Discord and you should be debating down there. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you in there in the future.
Yeah, and Destiny, like I hope that at the very least you take a glance at the email. Like it's that's all I have to say. Like it's loaded with ammunition for you.
Okay.
It's
check it out.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christy.
All right, thank you. Have a.
What the?
Put it all in red. What's your question?
Hello. Thanks a lot for getting me in here.
Don't forget, first 30 seconds, you got to ask the question. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, sure. I have a very small setup. So I've been a member of a debate club at my university for quite some time. And because of the setting, because it's a university, afterwards we often chat with students on different topics that are more today lives related rather than like vacuum questions about debating stuff. And as I'm interested in finance, the conversation is sometimes driven towards that because that's the topics I'm interested in. And I find myself in conversations with people that a lot of them are actually anti-free trade activity. Like I sometimes hear narratives that the stock market is evil, the rich billionaires are evil, stuff like that.
Question
and
mm-hmm.
Why do you think people in universities are left-leaning?
don't know. Why do you ask me the biggest questions in all of
Go ahead, Steve. Why?
But it's probably a combination of being young, and so you don't have much experience with the world, so it's very easy for you to feel radicalized in one direction or the other. And then, especially as a younger person, if you think about how people engage with money through their life. Your worst engagement with money is generally going to be at the beginning of your life, and the best position you're going to have for money is going to be right before your final descent into death at the end of your life, right? You're accumulating debt early in your life for education, maybe for a house, and your earnings are the lowest they ever will be at the beginning of your life before you've ramped up into your career. So like people in the earliest part of their lives are going to feel fucked over by money systems more than, and they don't have any positive engagement with them. Like what positive engagement does a 19 or 20-year-old have with the stock market? Nothing, right? And then as you get later on in life, your engagement and interactions with the world change. That'd be my guess for why. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Wouldn't you then think that as you get more exposed to money and mechanisms of working with it, you get more f***ed with money over time, right? Like people get themselves in credit card debt, people like take out mortgages and get f***ed by like overdraft fees, stuff like that. And then like I would, like with this logic, I would think that people get more left-leaning over time. But the trajectory is the opposite, right?
No, the trajectory is absolutely the opposite. I mean, if I told you that most guys were taller than most girls, do you think that's true?
Sure. Okay. I see. What,
yeah.
Most
sure, people.
okay.
Your wealth is absolutely. I don't know I don't think I've seen a graph, but I would bet my balls on it that like if you were to graph the wealth of an average person over time, it's increasing as time goes on. That older people are definitely wealthier than younger people on average. Like that's just a general assent that people make through their life, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, but wouldn't you even think that like me explaining potentially that, the free trade activities and the public traded funds enabled, a company with funding to come to their city, create jobs, create businesses. Like, why is that not enough convincing argument for a relatively educated student, right? Like, I'm not talking about your average person kind of, like just getting their education, being sold in a pipeline that they guaranteed to get a job, but it's rather like a certain set of people who are willing to engage in a political discussion because they attend a debate club, but still are rather thinking that, like all of those anti-rich billionaire narratives are like absolutely true.
Well, I mean, it's easy to see. Like when wealthy people are winning, like they're just very visible. And sometimes it feels bad if you have feelings that in society the average person isn't doing well enough, and then somebody comes in to set up some new business. Even if there are winners there from people getting jobs, it feels like most of the winning is going to the guy who's setting up the company, and that always is going to feel bad, right? It's like a concentrated winner thing.
Sure. I then have a very small question. In the context of a free trade conversation, do you think polymarket is evil?
I think polymarket is evil.
What do you mean by evil?
Not necessarily, but it has the potential to be. Well, some people think it's bad because the predicting on bad outcomes just feels bad. So like, do we want to have a prediction market for somebody dying? And then obviously there are people that can abuse the fuck out of it. I think we all agree that the abuses that might happen are bad. But is that what you mean? Like predicting bad events is like a shitty thing, or?
Yeah, I mean, in a certain sense, right? Like some people would argue that it enables gambling. Some would say that, average Joe gets fucked up by the insider trader on the Iran invasion or stuff like that. I'm curious what you think, because I don't think...
I mean, I don't think that anybody gets fucked up by it. Like, or why would you get fucked by the Iran invasion? Just that people are betting on outcomes that might be bad to you, or...
No, I mean, you take a side of the bet, right? Not knowing the true probability of the event, and then get fucked up because the insider trades, knowing the better probability.
30 seconds.
Sure. But I mean, like, there's going to be insider trading for... Well, not for everything, I guess, yeah. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I guess I just don't engage with it much. But it seems like a thing that would be impossible to prevent abuses of, yeah. Like when you have, like, how many times... Weren't there, like, there were polymarkets on whether or not, like, Elon Musk would tweet, like, 100 times in a week or some bullshit, or, like, in 2 days or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd be allowed to run bets like that, since it seems, like, very easy for a friend of Elon to be like, hey, bro, I'm going to make, like, $200,000. Can you just, like, not tweet or something? Like...
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I say one last sentence?
Go.
One sentence.
I really appreciated the London debate. Can we have more events in Europe? Thank you.
I'll think about it. Bye.
Parsec, emo god. Go ahead. You didn't need a sub. You could have just asked me and I would have dragged you up.
Nah.
Never mind.
Thank you. So I sent you a 50,000 word email.
I read all of it. Don't worry.
Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to talk about democracy. Where are you at these days on like the radicalization of young people?
I don't know.
Kind of like
I don't think
keeping
about
them
it
away
much.
from the edge there.
I don't know. I just don't think about it too much. I mean, I think it's bad, but the thing that I'm more concerned about right now is the radicalization of old people. Like, I feel like young people get radicalized. Like, that's kind of like throughout all of history, young people just are so prone to radicalization for a million different reasons, mainly just because of lack of life experience. But I get more concerned when older people are getting radicalized by stuff like online than I think younger people were. It's a little bit kind of my expectation, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. When I look at it for like young people, I think the conversation tends to kind of hover around like who they're being influenced by. So like you'll get people being radicalized by certain media figures, and then it's oftentimes that like the media figures are the people that you're kind of looking to. But I'd like to kind of make the argument that I don't know if democracy really does a good enough job of like selling itself these days. It doesn't really, like, we kind of treat it as like a solved system, and I don't know if we can do that anymore, just with the amount of people that are kind of straying away from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
I always advocate for, like, I think it sucks that we kind of like stopped defending liberalism with positive arguments. This is kind of my whole foray into politics in like 2016, was the idea that liberals or people on the left never seem to want to debate or defend their ideas. I thought that was really bad, because then people lost the ability to do it, you know?
Yeah, not even just the ideas, but like the concept of the system itself. Because right now there's like a huge, I guess, vacuum in the democratic system right now that can be like exploited or kind of filled by the illiberal types, and that's both like lefty and fash. So like you're kind of fighting two battles at once with that. So I don't know. Pragmatically, I'd like to see a bit of a bigger push from like democratic pundits, hopefully, to kind of reinforce the reasons why democracy is so important for like a super healthy nation.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. Why are you trolling me so hard with your fucking microphone? This guy's trolling like crazy, right?
What am I doing?
I don't know, you were insanely loud at the beginning, and then now you're like insanely quiet.
Oh, yeah. I need a new cloud lifter. My,
Wait, did you turn it off? Okay, wait, did he come in extremely loud, or am I hallucinating that?
He did. I turned him down.
You turned him down?
But on my own.
Sorry, yeah. Wait, why were you loud when you first came in, and now you're no longer loud?
I turned the gain down on my microphone because people were pinging me in chat saying I was loud as fuck. They could hear my mouth.
Well, what is the gain at right now?
I have a shitty little Focusrite Scarlett.
Well, you had plenty of gain before, so I don't know why you think you need a cloud lifter. Turn the gain up. Wait, what's the fader on the channel? Is it maxed or is it at 0?
There's no fader, it's a dial, and it's at like 3/4. And the reason I have the cloud lifter off right now is because I've got like EMF interference in it, because I don't have shielded XLR cables.
What? It's a cloud lifter. It's the cleanest preamp you can find. That shouldn't matter.
This guy has a child with Merc off the perk, just so you know.
Good, based. Wait, do you actually? No, you don't. Merc doesn't have any kids.
Wait.
None that we know.
What is
of.
this audio topic that you've started, Steven?
Well, because it doesn't make any sense.
Topic.
Wait. You should have two. You should have a volume knob and a gain knob. You can't just have one knob. No.
It's one knob. Yeah, it's just
Careful,
gain.
Parsec. Don't let him bait you into an audio topic. That's
no,
a banned
it's not.
topic.
I'm just saying you have a Focusrite, right?
I have a Focusrite Scarlett. Yeah, it's like the tiny little one, and there's a single gain knob. That's all. And
What's
then there's like a 48 Phantom power.
What's the model?
It's like the Scarlett Mini or some shit.
Is it the 212 or the 2i2, that one or whatever?
Yeah, it's the one with like a patch cable and then an XLR in.
Am I looking at the right one? This thing?
I have an older version, but yeah, it's basically that. So those knobs are literally just gain. That's all it is.
1 and 2?
Yeah.
What about that output knob?
That output is to headphone, so it's not like output to your system.
Really? I see an output knob that has a USB thing next to it, and then I see another output knob that looks like it's for headphones. Are you sure that big output knob on the left isn't for the computer?
Well, if you look directly next to the output knob, you can see the headphone symbol, which would probably indicate that it's for headphones.
No, I see another knob. Do you have two knobs over here? Do you see what I'm looking at?
I don't have that knob. I have a direct monitor button where that one is.
Okay. You absolutely have a gain and a volume knob. There's no way you only have one. Or it's a software that comes with the Focusrite. There's no way you just have...
True, I'm just lying to you for fun.
No, you are.
True.
You can't. There's no way that... What? Hold on. No, hold on. Do you have software installed for this?
I do.
Okay, the Scarlett...
But it's an older version of the software again, because I have an older version of the device. So
what
the
gen?
only thing
What
in my
gen
software...
is it? Third gen?
Second.
Second gen. Hold on. Does it look like this?
Don't have it. Yes. No. No, it doesn't look like that. It might be the first gen.
4i4. Oh, god damn it. You don't have
Oh,
a
yeah, you're
link
looking
to
at the
this
wrong model.
anywhere, or?
I
Oh
could
my
link you.
god.
Oh my god, bro.
Okay. 2i2. Give me 3 minutes, and then we'll move on.
I mean, he's the boss, guys. There's nothing
I
can
am
do.
the boss. Is it this one? No, it can't be, because he doesn't have 2 knobs. This is the 4th gen again. Oh my god. You don't have a link to the thing you bought, right? It's not on Amazon or anywhere. You don't have a link anywhere.
I could probably find it.
Do you have a picture anywhere? Oh, wait, hold on. Is it this thing? On my stream?
I have your stream paused. No, yes, kind of. It's closest to that, but that's an older version. I have one version up from that.
Hold on. How many decibels of gain is this supposed to add? Does it say anywhere? Or have you read that anywhere?
I think it's like a 10 dB floor, but I'm on the SM7B, so I
have a
need the Cloud
10
Lifter.
10 decibel max gain preamp interface with a SM7B. You're trolling.
Correct.
You're trolling. Okay. All right. I just wanted to take time to know that I'm just getting trolled.
I'm not trolling. It's why I have
Plug
the Cloud
your
Lifter.
Cloud Lifter. Well, you don't even have it plugged in because you think you need HDMI $500 XLR
Well, no,
cables.
because there's something that broke inside of it, I think, and it's.
How do you break a? It's a non-moving hunk of blue metal. How can you possibly break it?
I don't know. That probably has something to do with it.
Wait, is your Cloud Lifter plugged in right now?
His kid was playing with it.
Oh my god.
And hey, Dan.
Oh, okay.
Stop.
Next,
Stop being mean.
get this clown out of here. This future anti-fan.
Hey, Parsec. I'll see
what's
you in chat later. Radiant, are you really a tier 5? No, you're a tier 1. Nope, you're out. Ritzy. You have a question?
Yeah. Can you
Go
guys
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I was actually in military intelligence for 7 years. Just recently exited it. And one of my biggest concerns right now with the military is
what branch?
I don't know if I want to say that.
Wow. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Marine Corps.
Stolen
It was
valor.
Marine Corps.
Thank you.
Oh,
actually, that provides some context.
Good.
So one of the biggest concerns that I have right now, not majorly with intelligence, but a lot with the military, is it seems like it doesn't seem like there is a lot of extremism in the military right now.
Wait. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
pertaining to-
Are you in the military right now, or are you retired? Sorry.
No, I just got out, which basically means that the shackles are off, and I
Okay.
can say whatever the f I want.
And when you say
which
just
is
got
awesome.
out, do you mean like a year ago, a month ago?
Try 5 days ago.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, so the amount of extremism, specifically surrounding things like when Marines went to the LA protests, the amount of Marines talking about comparing that to the Rodney King riots was crazy. The amount of Marines that I heard specifically talking about the excitement at the idea of killing American citizens because they disagreed with them was crazy. And this is all first-hand account shit. This isn't I was scrolling through Reddit and I saw Marines talking about it. This is first-hand account shit. So I guess my question is just, what is your solution for that? How do you de-radicalize a community that is largely conservative to begin with?
Can you tell me how old you are and how long you were in the military? Just curious.
So I was in the military. Also, sorry if you hear my daughter in the background. She's sitting on my lap right now. But
Yikes, bro. TMI.
I was in the military for 7 years. I'm about to turn 25.
Gotcha. I mean, what do I think about it? I think it's bad. What are you going to do about it? Who knows? You said you were in for 7 years. It's interesting you say that. I've said this before on stream. And one thing I think you need to tell her to let me finish my statement.
I'm going to mute when I'm not talking so that she's not babbling over you.
Why don't you tell her to have some manners? How old is she?
She's a year and a half old.
Okay, then she should absolutely have manners. No, I'm just fucking with you. Sorry.
No, she's an asshole.
No, it's okay. So one thing that I've heard a lot from people is, especially before the Biden admin, like back in like 2020, like people from the military would email me all the time, and they would say that basically emailing from the military or from just working in government, so intelligence or just normal non-intelligent whatever work, non-intelligent like work outside of intelligence in the government, and people would tell me that all of these jobs are generally like very apolitical. People don't talk politics. There's not like this rampant extremism through all the military or through intelligence or whatever like people would expect. That basically it's kind of like a taboo to talk about politics when you go to the job. But I have heard over the last like year and a half, 2 years, that culture, a lot of people are telling me, has like changed significantly, such that there are like unironic, I don't remember if I said this the last time a guy emailed me. I think he was in the CIA, or it might have been FBI, but like he was telling me that like people on the job were like legitimately conspiracy theorists, that the amount of political talk and the amount of just kind of like insane shit has gotten substantially worse, like in ways that they'd never seen historically. I know you said you've only been in for 7 years, but do you feel like that's true, or do you feel like it's always been like people are kind of like radical, have always said like crazy stuff and it's just gotten a little bit worse? Or do you think it's changed significantly over the past like year and a half?
So I got in 2019. So I was in for like the tail end of the first Trump admin. And I would say even then it wasn't nearly as bad as it was now. So during the Biden admin, it was like largely really boring, to be honest. Like the intelligence community, super nonpartisan, like nobody really talked about politics.
Yeah, like I remember asking friends who worked in intelligence, like, oh, like do you think your office is like in generally like more Republican or Democrat? And they would tell me that they legitimately didn't know, which almost seemed like a lie to me. I almost wonder, but they say I don't even know the politics of like half my coworkers. You know, they might have like one or two close friends, but they like wouldn't just talk about it that much. Or yeah, go ahead.
I would say that generally, it's pretty apparent that most people in the Marine Corps at least lean right.
Sure.
And I guess it kind of depends on maybe what state you're in or what state they came from. But I would say the majority of people that I came across in the Marine Corps, when I started, they were like the reasonable side of the right. They probably leaned a little bit more center than they did anything else. But they were still what was left of the reasonable side. Mm-hmm. And now I've seen a lot of that just disappear. And it's not reasonable anymore. There is no such thing as a reasonable side of the right in the military. You either agree with Donald Trump and everything he's saying and everything he's doing, and you're like this major conspiracy theorist, and you're twisting your words during your intelligence briefings to make it sound exactly like what you think everyone else would want, or nobody listens to you. Sure. And the crazy thing is we actually had like commanders talking to us being like, hey, we just have to do what we have to do. It doesn't matter if I agree with this, and it doesn't matter if you agree with this, but we just need to like do what we're told. All right. Which was like really hard for me to listen to sometimes, because it was obvious that some of these commanders didn't agree with the things that were happening. Like obviously I can't go into exact details or anything on what we were given, mm-hmm. but it just got really weird there towards the end. And I was really glad that I got out when I did.
Yeah, this is kind of worrying to me because I've said this before when it comes to lawmakers on the right, but it seems like it's infecting every part of the government, especially in this term, that like people will say kind of crazy shit in front of the cameras, especially like elected lawmakers. But like when it comes time to get behind closed doors and to actually do the work, everybody's kind of on the same page. Like they got a job to do. But it really seems like that is changing quite a bit, that there are legitimately a lot of crazy and unhinged and conspiratorial minded people who are having to feed information up in a way that is like reinforcing kind of this weird conspiratorial / hard MAGA bend everywhere, or else you run the risk of either getting fired or like nobody wants to talk to you or listen to you, or I don't know. That's really scary to me. Like, you don't have to give an opinion. I don't know if you have an opinion, but like the whole like Kash Patel, like people going through the FBI and just firing anybody that had worked on any prior like investigation into Trump, or getting rid of prosecutors or whatever that were in cases of like I don't know. That stuff is more concerning to me than crazy people at the top, because those people switch out really easily. But if your institution starts to rot from the inside, that's like I don't even know if you can fix that. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the way forward is. I can make comments and like opinions on broad things now because I can't get in trouble anymore. I'm not getting retirement benefits, so they can't touch me any way you look at it, right? But generally, the idea that people in like intelligence disciplines have to worry about their partisanship now, that is a really scary thing to think about because you've got people like Kash Patel, like you said, and people like Tulsi Gabbard, the literal DNI right now, she has to mince her words on whether or not Iran was actually a threat before we went there. Because if she says it in a certain way where she agrees that they were a threat, it looks really bad on her. But if she doesn't say it in a way that she thinks that the administration thought it was a threat and they just did it anyway, then she's going to get axed, right? Like she's in an impossible situation, whether or not she's actually saying the things that she believes or not, or if she believes anything that's happening. She's in an impossible situation.
Sure.
So yeah, generally I would just say like I said, coming in and the 4 years during Biden, like partisanship was like known. People knew what it was, but nobody was really arguing about it. It was this last year and a half, where arguments about politics and arguments about things that were happening became like a commonplace in the workplace. That wasn't something, and the idea that my entire 4 years under Biden, that we didn't have to have a single talk about like, hey, we need to like stop talking about this, or hey, we just need to do what we need to do. Like that was never a conversation we had to have when Biden was in office, because there wasn't anything that divisive that Biden did or said that caused us to have to dial that kind of stuff back. But it feels like we had that talk at least once a month. It's like Venezuela happened. It's like, all right, everybody shut the fuck up. Nobody like can give their opinion on Venezuela. And then like Iran happened and everyone was like, all right, shut the fuck up. The LA riots, everyone shut the fuck up, okay? Just do what you're told. And the idea that
getting in trouble by like upper command.
Well, no, it was like you either it didn't really matter. Like on social media, we all signed this thing called a page 11, where you can't talk about partisan things on social media. But for the first time ever, I was told you can't attend a protest outside of uniform without representing the military. So the idea that any of the No Kings protests, those were off limits, and they were all like talked about in this way where it was going to be like this super dangerous thing where if you went to it, like you could have died. That was something that I'd never heard during 4 years of Biden. And the idea that we had to have talks like this, like once a month, was just insane to me. Whereas like there was a new major thing happening in the world that we couldn't talk about. Obviously, we couldn't post about it on social media because we agreed to that when we all came in. That you is a direct representation of of the military. But the idea that we had to have that talk so often was just, it was insane.
Yeah. Well, damn, not good.
I feel like there was one other thing that I had to ask.
You got time.
Trying to remember what that was now. Dan's super quiet. Anyway, man, I can't remember what it was now. I appreciate you guys taking the time, though.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. Thanks for coming in.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
GTI guy, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Has anybody asked? Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Sorry, my bad. Yep. So, okay. Has anybody asked Destiny about who he would put in the cabinet if the next president is a Democrat?
I have no idea, bro. I don't know those positions well enough. I don't know all the people that who would even be. Yeah, I have no idea.
If it was Newsom, you wouldn't have anybody from his California government or anybody?
I don't know these people. Ask me in 2027.
Good enough. All right, one more question real quick. What would you pick if you had to buy a brand new car right now?
If I could get anything I wanted and it was like
Yeah, like let's say like less than 100 grand, I guess, to keep it like somewhat reasonable.
Oh, I don't know.
But like basically any.
I wanted that
car.
Porsche 992 911 or whatever, the GT3. I don't know why there's so many fucking numbers on these cars. They're like graphics cards, but they're hard to find new. But they're like 250k, I think.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay, well I mean like
under 100k, I don't know. It would probably just be a fucking one of those mid-engine Corvettes, because why not? Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, I guess like what would you spend on a car if you were maybe it was 100k, like not high enough for a big baller like you?
My current car is 40k. All right, I like my Focus RS.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have two GTIs. I have a 2019 and a 2012. I heard you used to have a GTI, right?
Yeah. Why do you have two of them?
Because I like them. What do you mean?
What, do you have a wife, or does somebody else drive one, or does you just like
I
want to drive the
have a
2019 and I want to drive the
Mazda 3.
2012? Oh, cute. Okay.
Yeah, she's got a brand new one. I've got a 2012, the two-door, and that one's like my first car was a 2011, so the 2012 was like basically the same thing, but the 2019 is like newer and safer and shit. But
okay.
Yeah, that's all I have. Appreciate it.
Cool.
All right, have a good one.
Peace.
Radiant, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hello?
Yep. Go ahead.
Yo, what's up? All right. I actually have 2 questions.
Of course.
Okay, so the first one is actually came from chat, and I thought it was a really good question. Just to be very clear, it's not a banned topic, so don't kick me if I want to ask this. But
you're making it sound like it's a banned topic, but okay, go ahead.
Wait, what?
You're making it sound like it's a banned topic, but go ahead.
It's not. I promise. Okay, it's not. It's not. Okay. Would you crack a lolly in order for Trump to be impeached and removed from office?
Depends on if it's your mom or not.
He's gone. Zoran, did we pull you in earlier?
Yeah, you did. I waited about like 45 minutes. Is that long enough?
Is that just again?
No, because we still got new people.
Okay, I'll wait another 30 minutes.
Sure. Friendly fire, go ahead.
How's it going, guys?
Hi.
What tier are you at right now in Slay the Spire? That's not my question.
I've done 3 runs, and I've won all 3 of them. But I'm going to lose this one because this character sucks shit.
True.
Okay, my actual question is, who in your server is in charge of the Discord bots?
What do you mean?
Probably Shambles or Cake.
Yeah, that sounds
right. Okay, cool. Would you guys be interested in adding an application, or are you guys full?
An application for Discord bots to what? Like to become a bot, or?
No. I made an application that you could add to your server that basically lets you fight with your community in gaming-related challenges. So when all the backseaters are talking shit about your Slay the Spire gameplay, you can set up a contest and see who's the best.
Shambles? I don't know if I would use this. I'll think about it. Email somebody, Mouton.
Okay, so I'll be nice. He's not going to use it. He's not going to think about it. The answer's no right now.
Fuck you.
But I'll think about it.
Save me. Dan.
Dan's gone. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Be careful.
GG's.
Good job. You that dude up for me.
Goju, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. Questions got to be in the first 30 seconds.
I wanted to ask, why do you always say that it's good that the Trump cabinet is incompetent?
I don't think I've ever said the Trump. Well, some of them are. Some of them. Or no, why do I say it's good? Because if he had like a crazy agenda that he wanted to implement and he had good people to do it, this country would be fucked.
Okay. Well, I would say that it's actually worse to have incompetent people, because the only way for an incompetent person to get higher up or be more prominent is through loyalty, and an incompetent person means that they'll have to be loyal no matter what Trump says.
Yeah, I guess. But if Trump says crazy shit and they're incompetent, they can't get it done. So.
Well, I mean, Trump has been able to get stuff done even though he is incompetent. There are things which you can get done even if you're incompetent.
But I mean, barely, but nowhere near as much as they want. He's gotten like 1% done of like I think all the things he would want to be done.
Probably, but also another thing is that if you are competent, you can easily take the spotlight off of other people and off of Trump. Probably, I can like get examples from like Ukraine or Russia.
Well, part of being competent politically and surviving politically is probably not trying to take the spotlight from your narcissistic dear leader who wants to have it all the time, right?
Not necessarily. We have like, I mean, I think Marco Rubio tried to get the spotlight away from, I forgot the guy on Ukraine. He like leaked some phone calls.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you obviously can try and get the spotlight away from other members or even Trump sometimes to get, I guess, your political career maybe started or to get your ideology furthered. So, and if you are competent, but obviously it's going to be quite a danger if you're Trump. So I think a lot of times we see, especially autocrats, put incompetent people in power because it's much easier to control, and the only way to, I guess, not have any competition is for them to just be loyal and incompetent.
Okay.
That would be like my first thing. I guess another issue, but that was more on like whenever Anna talked, is that she said like, oh, we wouldn't want any Russian people in Ukraine, or we would be scared to have Russian people in Ukraine. And whilst I kind of agree on an emotional level, I think it's also very dangerous.
Sure.
She brought the example of the Russians in the Baltic states, which is, I think, wrong. The Russians are not necessarily like pro-Russian or pro-Putin because innately they're like somehow like controlled by Putin. I think it's because the Baltic people, especially after the 90s, were very like ostracized. They were not allowed any voting rights. They were not allowed even like basically citizenship. They were discouraged from having even like political parties or voices. And I think her like saying, oh, we should be scared, or like we don't want any Russian people in our countries, I think is quite dangerous. And
Sure.
it's not
To be
good way
fair to her perspective, I don't think she was necessarily saying like no Russians allowed. We don't want to. Just that like for a country that's at war with another country, or like that has active conflict, it's kind of scary that a bunch of those people could immigrate to your country. That it's a little different in the U.S. than us having like a million Mexican people that immigrate here or whatever. I don't think she was necessarily like none of these people should be allowed to immigrate though. But I understand what you're saying too. That sometimes negative thoughts about another group can make that group even worse for the country, and then it kind of becomes this like feedback cycle or whatever. Yeah.
I took it in a way of like she just doesn't want the Russians in there right now, but maybe I wasn't listening enough. I thought it was more of like a joke at like I don't want these people here like killing my people. But.
Wow, really?
Well, yeah, I know. It's I think something in Eastern Europe which is quite scary. I see like in my own country, Moldova, a lot of like right people are being very dangerously like ethnos nationalists trying to get rid of Russians, and I think it should be countered.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I'll be going.
Have fun. Be careful.
Have a good one. All right.
Is it?
So I'm gonna be.
What?
All right, Radiant, ask your second question.
What? Hello.
Hello.
Yo, that was pretty rude, Boot. Loli wasn't in the ban topic, just so you know, okay? But it's not a Loli question.
That's good.
Okay. So my actual question is more just like a continuance of our last discussion, related to like the furry that was indicted for murder or something like that, and like because they thought they were a murderer, or no, they thought they were an animal and they murdered a human, but the law says only humans can commit murder. Well, basically, I think it's immoral to indict that person for murder if they truly thought they were an animal. Just because, like, I mean, what do you think?
Well, the idea behind the hypotheticals, they probably don't actually think that, but that's just going to be the defense they give.
Okay, but if they... I mean, like, the point is that, like, I don't know, like...
Hello?
You have to write it in the rule, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it all comes down to just having a good referee, right? Like the people have to regulate themselves, the judge has to regulate, you know, or a faithful judge has to regulate like what the law says and all that.
Are you just trying to troll viewer Collins?
No, it's not a troll. It's actually true. Like, what do you think about that, Destiny? Like, I think at the end of the day, it always comes down to the people because you can't write a rule that nobody actually cares about because no one will enforce it.
Okay.
Like, if the people don't care about a corrupt president, then, like, you know, you can't write, no rule that you could ever write will ever be, like, a thing. Because people just either won't enforce it or, like, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. True. I do agree with that, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Well, okay. Wait. So at the end of the day, it's always, it just comes down to the people, right?
Yep. True.
We can agree on that.
That's why we shouldn't focus on writing rules to counter super corrupt people that don't care about the rules. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No. I think that the only solution then is just to educate the people, to convince people that what's happening is wrong, or or if they don't know, tell them, and all that.
I agree. True.
All right. Good call.
All right. Well, that's the solution then. All right. We saved
You're banned
America.
from the next viewer Collins.
Be careful.
Punks, go ahead. 5 minutes.
Hey, my question is, crap. It's, do you really think that focusing on the sort of retribution aspect of, we need, now that Republicans under Trump and MAGA have ignored all of the laws, all these laws and all these norms, that we need to go after them and we need to also ignore the law?
No, I don't think we should necessarily totally ignore the law. Also, I don't think this should be a focus. It's just a thing I would like to see people engage with more seriously, because I think it's a huge problem. But I don't think there should be like a focus point or anything.
Okay. Because I get worried a little bit seeing stuff that with this direct, if people start talking about it more, in the Democratic Party, that's going to become the defining thing of that, we need to have this happen. Because I guess the way I look at it is I feel like the big issue for the Democrats in the last decade since the Obama era has been that the Democratic Party hasn't been able to define itself in any way other than in opposition to Trump and the Republicans. I feel like there's no there is no, I feel like currently agreement within the Democratic coalition about what does the Democratic Party represent and what are we trying to do?
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Yeah, I think it's a problem. Yeah, we need to have a stronger positive policy position rather than just not being Trump or whatever. Yeah.
But how does, I don't see the discussion around how are we going to do this, and I want to be clear that I personally think that if Democrats get back in power, even if it's just the House, but hopefully we get the House and the Senate, and we do the largest corruption probe of the government in US history. But I guess it feels a bit like Trump. It feels like the Project 2025 stuff, where it's in 2024, I think the single best thing Trump did in regards to Project 2025 was say that he didn't know what it was and he hadn't read it.
Maybe. I think the analysis on that has to get kind of complicated. You can argue that that's the point, but I think the actual issue is I think most Americans don't care about policy. I think that's actually what was really going on there. Yeah. So whether he would have said he'd known about it or not, I don't think that matters much. I think the only thing that really mattered was that Americans just don't care about policy. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some Americans that don't care. I would argue that the people who are willing to vote for the Republican Party but aren't willing to consider the Democratic Party, I think those people don't care about policy. But I think that people that are broadly in the Democratic coalition, so that it's the base, independent, Democratic leaning independents, and then also some of the fringe people that that the people on the fringe that don't vote that often, but that Obama and Clinton were able to activate to vote for Democrats. I think those people care a lot about policy.
Okay, that might be the case. I feel like I just don't hear much policy debate or discussion in the United States, and most people just don't seem. It's more kind of more in the vibe world right now.
But I think that's because that's what the Republicans. Because I feel like that's what Republicans want. Because that's the environment that they can thrive in. Yeah. And so I feel focusing on. So I feel if Democrats start talking more about, we're going to come after. These are the things that we're going to do to go after. Explicitly to go after, Trump and his cabinet, not in the terms of dealing with government corruption, but just in the specifics of we are going to target these people. I think that just plays into more of the vibes-based thing.
I mean, I don't think it's a vibe to say we should hold corruption accountable, but we can do multiple things. Like, I think we should have strong policy positions as well. The whole next administration can't just be, I don't think I've ever said that it should just be like getting the old guys and destroying them.
Well, it's not, I guess.
You have 10 seconds.
So my feeling is just generally that I think the way to discuss this, I feel like the best way to discuss it is to couch it in just like general government corruption, because that's something Americans are currently frustrated with.
I think that's okay. Yeah.
Rather than
Final
just
words?
like we need to go after Trump in this like tit for tat manner. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. They're gone. Get out of here. Saturday. Go ahead.
Holy, look at all those gifted subs.
Jesus, how many is that?
Way too many.
It scrolled
Way
off. Wait,
too
did you see
many.
the number?
That's from Israel, for sure.
100 gifted subs. Appreciate you coming to dinner with me last week. Still can't believe you said you hated my people, though. I'll see you at New York or NC State next month. Chat better thank Wheezy for convincing me to gift subs instead of a normal dono.
Damn. Based.
At least that guy has a memorable name.
True. Well, everybody.
You love them.
I do. I'm in love with them.
Why don't you marry them?
Maybe I will.
Money well spent.
Saturday's gone. Wait, Saturday. Hello? Are you good? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Why are you so impatient, Moot?
They're gone.
Got him. Based. You crushed on
Alex. Go ahead, Alex. 10.
Isn't there a song?
Hello?
Tuesday's
Yeah,
gone.
go ahead.
Quick question. So I guess 2 quick questions. I've been watching for a while, and there are 2 games that have, one of them already has a sequel come out. Will you ever play the new Final Fantasy VII remake, like the part 2?
Maybe.
No.
This is not a game
And then
suggestion. It's a
also-
question.
Will you play the game?
He's asking. That's not a suggestion. He's asking,
That
will
is-
you
that
play?
is- True. Bro.
No, he's not.
And then number 2, Melvor Idol has a sequel coming out for Melvor Idol 2. Will you play that?
Oh, kill me. Come on.
He's not suggesting. He's just asking.
I'm just asking.
Well, Steve?
Probably not.
Crop checks were Kino.
Okay, probably not. There we go.
Oh my god.
Wow.
All right, have a good one.
All right.
Be careful.
That's it. Thank you.
You're weak, Mr. Moon.
Wait, you can just buy the lantern? That's crazy. Dude, both of these relics are really good. Hell yeah.
All right, Acnologia. Go ahead. Really good. Hell yeah. All right, Acnologia.
Oh, hello?
Yep.
Oh, how's it going? Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So I just have 2 questions. The first one, regarding the discourse with Hutch about, how far do you go in terms of the Trump admin? Destiny first, do you agree? And what do you think Hutch would agree? The Minnesota AG should just charge these ICE agents with murder. The ICE agent and the CBP agent with murder, and then charge Kristi Noem with aiding and abetting murder, and then charge Donald Trump with the same thing.
I don't know. I don't know what information they have available to them, because if it truly is that the FBI wasn't cooperating at all, this is start each combat, not each turn. If the FBI is not cooperating with them at all and they don't have the evidence to actually prosecute the case, then it might look really bad to try a case like that they have no hope of winning.
Yeah, but then that's when you get a little, you put a little extra sauce on it. And then the other thing, I guess you could say, I think I put it in chat a couple days ago, but it's like, I feel like you could get Trump with criminal negligence for appointing a anti-vaxxer as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Like, I feel like there's just absolutely, I don't know, like, these are the kind of things that when we talk about like things that are like legal but quote unquote not legal, I feel like these are things that should be fairly permissible to liberal people. I don't know how you feel about that kind of thing, but I think it should be. I think that wouldn't be too difficult.
Maybe. I mean, that would definitely be difficult, but maybe, yeah. It's a thought.
Well, it wouldn't be difficult to get buy-in for, because because to me it's like, okay, obviously a anti-vaxxer should not be the head of health and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and he's indirectly contributing to a lot of deaths and a lot of sicknesses. And I don't know. I think that, and same thing with Elon Musk, like that should be criminal negligence. I feel like these are the sorts of things that should be, I don't know, in the forefront of people's minds, but hopefully. Mm-hmm. And then my second thing is about, you fairly confidently assert a lot of the times that body shaming and the inhibition and the discrepancies in what's permissible in terms of body shaming and the impact across genders, like that there's a wide discrepancy in these things, and you seem to say that like anyone who doesn't think that it's clearly worse for women is like a fucking idiot. And I'm curious, like, do you stand by that opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. I heavily disagree. I think that I don't know why you think that. I'm not like sure what I feel like you might be speaking something differently than how I perceive that, but to me, it's a lot more taboo to criticize a woman's appearance than a man's appearance.
Well, that's criticizing an appearance is just one thing, but when you say like that might be true what you're saying, but just criticizing of a thing is not necessarily like the only negative aspect of being or looking at like of. It's
one of the most negative aspects. Would you not say?
No.
Like someone making negative comments about your appearance is probably like one of the worst things you can do to someone regarding their appearance. And if there's one gender where it's clearly more acceptable to make negative comments about their appearance, it's kind of foolish to say that it's clearly.
I would say that probably the worst thing is people.
Baggage.
I would say people treating you differently because of your appearance is definitely the worst thing. I would say it's probably more than people.
I mean, I think that's a different thing because I don't think treatment is relating to appearance is like analogous across genders. I think comments on appearance kind of are. Like, for example, I don't think that like handsome men will get treated like substantially differently than like average looking men, whereas I think like the comments that people make on bodies, I think like the nature of how those comments come about and like what's permissible and the types of comments that people make are relatively consistent across genders. It's just in one case, for example, like calling a guy fat, calling a guy ugly, making fun of guys that are even more muscular, like, you know, saying like that was disgusting. I was looking at Jesus Christ, I was looking at Dr. Mike was at like the Miami
you have 1 minute.
Muscle Beach, and literally every single, like the first 50 comments, and I was going through it with my girlfriend, and I was saying to her, like, do you see every single comment just calling him like a disgusting, like fat turtle, gross, and like nobody gives a fuck, nobody cares. I just don't think that same thing would be, and I don't think anyone would even think to say like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be like heavily criticizing this guy's appearance. I don't think that's even a thought that comes across people's minds. Whereas with women, I think there will be an equal amount of people maybe talking shit, but then an equal amount of people being like, hey, bro, don't talk shit. So I mean, do you agree with that?
I don't disagree that it is more permissible to attack men on appearance and other related things like that. Like bald jokes are totally okay for men, even though arguably that's just like a thing that you can't control at all. It's hard to compare directly though, because men also greenlight a lot of these types of attacks, right? There is no like man's man, I guess, except for maybe you could argue red pillars are kind of sort of like that. But I mean, even red pillars will shit on men for appearance-related reasons.
Yeah, wouldn't that make it worse for men because they just get it from all sides? Whereas, and like, there's absolutely no like kind of contingent that defends these sorts of these men from these sorts of attacks from anyone, and nobody even thinks to do it. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In terms of like well, hold on. In terms of the criticism thing, I agree, but I think that I guess like, how do you explain the fact that it feels like if you look to like media, for instance, which is I feel like is a big reflection of our feelings in society, I feel like you see a lot more broad acceptance, or maybe men can inhabit a lot of different types of bodies and still have positive impressions in media, whereas for women I feel like you're pretty narrowly prescribed there in terms of what you can look like. And then I feel like socially, I feel like women in general, okay. You don't agree with that?
No.
How many fat successful women actors are there?
I mean, some. I don't know. Like, it's not.
I feel like there's like one. Like whoever that.
Ghostbusters, Amy Schumer. The girl from
Amy
Pitch
Schumer
Perfect.
got...
That's just three. First of all, hold on, wait. Just to be clear, I just named 3 fat people off the top of my head. I don't think of every single fat person that's ever existed, but I can name you 3 off the top of my head. The Melissa McCarthy or whatever, Amy Schumer, and the girl from Pitch Perfect. They were all fat. They were all accepted. You agree with that, right?
So Melissa McCarthy was the one I was thinking of, but I'm pretty sure most of the roles she even played were like, "LOL, I'm fat." Like the fatness was like.
Same thing with Jonah Hill. Same thing with Kevin James.
I never heard a more wrong statement in my entire life that you.
Kevin James' gimmick wasn't being a fat ass. Did you watch the
Jonah Hills in every role Jonah Hills has played was just him being LOL fat?
Not every role,
in Moneyball and Wolf of Wall Street and
21 Jump Street, LOL fat. You're a fat, ugly dude, and now you're coming back to college and come back to high school or college, where the fuck you was in. And it's like, oh, actually, now the kids have changed, so now they like your personalities and stuff. But like the meme was, it's gonna be just like it always was. You're fat and nobody likes you. That was the meme, but then it turned out that it wasn't the case, and that was like the gimmick of the movie. Yes.
So I haven't seen the particular movie you're talking about, but for Wolf of Wall Street, Jonah's character was not just LOL fat. I'm not even sure if I'm sure they must make a fat joke, but I don't even know if they do make a fat joke, but it's not there. In Moneyball, I don't believe that there was any like I don't know. Are there any fat
hang
jokes
on a
in
second.
that movie for
Every
War
role that they
Dogs?
have
I don't
is
think.
going to. Not every role they have is going to be at the expense of their physical appearance. I'm saying that they get made fun of for their appearance. They have roles that are specifically about their physical appearance. Jack Black is another one. Yes, he's had a lot of like, hey, hey, bro, yeah, you're a funny fat guy. That's the thing. Like, yes, there's a niche for it, but don't act as though like people aren't like playing it up the same way one might play up a Melissa McCarthy thing. And just to be clear, this is diverting from the original point, which is that there are fat women that exist in media, and it's completely okay, right?
Well, you didn't even let me get through that. So Melissa McCarthy, I would agree. Amy Schumer, how many different things has she been in as an actor?
I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, in media. Okay. So she doesn't act that much. She's been in a few movies, but she also is a comedian that has done a bunch of fucking sold out shows. So that's another person that just exists within the world with the popular media.
I'm not going to sit here and say
public eye that is not necessarily conventionally attractive that people like that made a lot of money doing it and like that exists. That's a lane that exists. So you can't pretend it doesn't exist. That's all I'm saying in regards to this particular point.
Okay. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Okay. I'm sure you can find.
Okay. I'm glad you can agree with me now. So now
we don't agree. Right? No. I'm sure you can there are going to be one or two people that might be an exception to the rule, but even on these ones that are exceptions, first of all, and it might have just been the circles that I was in on the internet, I feel like a lot of people made comments about Amy Schumer's weight constantly. That was a huge thing. Nobody is saying Jonah Hill sucked in Wolf of Wall Street. Why are they casting this guy? He's fat. You've never ever heard that about a guy ever. And why do they have Jack Black in this film? He's fat. What, like nobody, these are just not comments that people make, right? It just doesn't happen.
No,
like in School of Rock, Jack Black's character is not
stupid.
like a fat man. Like that's how he's characterized as. He just happens to be fat. It doesn't have to be the defining characteristic of him. Whereas if I'm thinking for Melissa McCarthy in the movie Spy, in the movie was she in Bridesmaids? I feel like her being fat is the butt of like half the jokes. But if I think of Seth Rogen for like stoner comedy stuff, like him being fat, sometimes isn't even a joke. Or if there is a joke about it, it's very rare. But like these are people who are just like a lot of guys are just able to be like fat. But that's okay. It's not like the defining aspect of who they are. Or you can have serious actors that are just larger, and that's it. But I feel like for women, especially moving outside of just comedy,
who's the guy who played Sam Tarley? Whatever the guy who played Sam Tarley, yes, they called him fat all the time. Night's Watch called Sam fat all the time. There are male characters that are overweight, and a huge portion of their character, the character spends a lot of time within whatever medium they're in, getting called fat for being fat.
But
for
why do they say that about? Wait. Why do they say that about Sam
Tarley?
Why do they say that about Sam Tarley?
Because he was inept in terms of like fighting, and he was kind of just like a nerd.
No. But see, that's the thing. For men, you're evaluated on your competency. Because if you're fat but you're able-bodied, then you're not going to get made fun of for being fat. For women, that's not there is.
Kung Fu Panda's animated, but he did get made fun of for being fat, and he was the Dragon Warrior. But continue.
Okay, I have not seen Kung Fu Panda, so I can't speak to that. But I'm sure that we can think of. Thank you. I got you. I'm sure we can think of people who, in Game of Thrones, do we ever see the Hound without like armor on?
Not to my maybe not without at least like leather mail or some shit.
I feel like that guy is probably overweight, but I don't think anybody even.
Mountain's kind of fat.
Yeah, but nobody calls them that because these people are competent, right? A woman can't gain competency to undo her fatness because the visual appearance of the person is like 51% of what they're judged on.
Yeah, this is okay.
Oh, Varys was large, but yeah, for 100%.
Yeah, I mean, but he okay, well, him being a eunuch, I think, headed off a lot of the fat jokes because they just made penis jokes. But regardless, I don't necessarily, like, even with this being, I don't grant you this, but if I were to grant you this, I still wouldn't necessarily say that this on net, that means, being a fat woman is more deleterious to your your monetary success, your social success, your relationship success, than being a fat man. I think, if anything, they're probably relatively even. But if I were to say one is more scrutinized than the other, more criticized than the other, I would fall on the male side because we can agree with all these things. I can agree with all the things that you said, and I'd still say, okay, well, if you were to call a guy fat in public versus a woman fat in public, are you going to get more weird looks, more people coming to the defense of the man or the woman? Like, obviously, it would be more people coming to the defense of the woman. And you can say that that's also kind of like inherent, like, sexism or whatever, but it's true. So being a fat man,
in this one realm, I would agree with you that you're more able to criticize just because of where we're at socially. But, like, I think I would agree with this. I'm not stereotyping or judging in any way, size, shape, or form. I'm only asking this question because I'm purely curious. Are you black?
I am.
Okay. Do you think it's easier to be white or black?
White.
Okay, you would agree, though, that I would get in a lot more trouble for calling you the N-word publicly than you would for calling me the C-word, right?
Yes.
So like that's an aspect of it, but that doesn't encapsulate everything. And if anything, I feel like the trouble
those
there.
Are different things, though. Like
I understand. I agree they're
man
different,
and a fat
but
woman.
saying the response there is probably indicative of like where where those things are like coming from. That there's like a counter wave or whatever for women not wanting to be publicly criticized about their appearance because that aspect of them is such an important aspect. Whereas for men, it's more acceptable to do it, which I agree is shitty. But I think that's probably responsive to some other underlying real thing that like, well, you know, making fun of a woman for her appearance, this is like hitting to the core of like who a woman is versus making fun of a man for his appearance. It's bad, but like men can overcome deficits in looks. I don't even want to say overcome. If a man is competent, the weight doesn't really matter. If the man can do like good things, then that's fine. But there is no way that a woman can overcome her ugliness with competency.
Okay. Regarding your analogy specifically, I would say that would be more analogous if we were comparing, say, people being made fun of for being tall versus people being made fun of for being short. I think that's more analogous to like the cross-racial thing where it's like, oh, like I get made fun of a lot because I'm 6'11". If some dude said that versus some guy's like, well, I'm 5'3" and I get made fun of a lot. And people like I think that's more analogous where I would definitely understand why people have a lot more sympathy for the short person than the tall person. I think that would map more onto the racial thing. For fat men and fat women, I don't agree because I think fat men are inhibited to the same exact degree, if not worse, by their appearance. And I also would say like there's other factors at play that make being fat for a woman not necessarily as inhibiting like interpersonally because well, especially like across sexes, because I would say men are a lot more willing to date fat women than women are willing to date fat men, simply because there's because I would say men are just generally more desperate than women. So I would say that that's already kind of across sexes where it's imbalanced. And then beyond that, I would say
you're far more judged in a dating looks aspect being a woman who's fat versus being a man who's fat.
Okay, and then this is where I'm going to say something, and then you're going to say, oh, well, yes, guys will have sex with a fat woman, but they won't date a fat woman. And then I'm going to say, well, that matters still. Like there's still value to people being willing to have sex with you, I would say. And then you're going to say, no, they view you as a sex object. Well, yes, I know.
Well, not necessarily that, but you would say that because you're a man, and sex is the thing that you're chasing. But if you're a woman, and relationships are the things you're chasing, well, of course, if you value the thing that you value, but you try to project that onto the woman, like, she's not going to care. Like, if you were to tell a woman, like, oh, well, you could f anybody you want, so you should be happy, right? The woman's gonna be like, well, no, you could date any of these fat bitches you want, right?
You're gonna say, if you're gonna tell her, no, I would not tell her to be. I would not think that she should be happy, and I would not expect her to be happy because that's not what she's seeking. I would say, well, that's not her primary. That's not like kind of the primary thing that she would be looking for in that particular example. I would say though that if you have two people, one is a fat man and one's a fat woman, and you know nothing else about them, and you were to say, okay, well, who do you think kind of like feels better about themselves, like physically, due to kind of like external validation and due to sexual success, or due to kind of even, I would say, relationship success? I would say probably the woman, because she probably just has more options, and the guy probably and there are probably more guys that are more desperate, so that they would kind of like overlook particular like things that they might, you know, rule out. For example, like a weight
desperate guys looking for
much.
sex versus desperate guys looking for relationships are going to be two different things. And I don't know if this is like the catch a woman is looking for is a guy who's desperate.
I'm not saying it is. We're comparing two bad things and saying which is worse or which is less bad, I guess. I'm not saying this is a desirable
who do you
position.
think? Okay, who do you think would be generally better position in life? A man who's overweight making $80,000 a year, or a woman who's overweight making $80,000 a year?
Generally,
like all else equal, men can overcome. Like, there's going to be a world where I might agree with you. Like, who's going to be better off? A guy who's like homeless, or not homeless, a guy making $24,000 a year who's fat working at McDonald's versus a woman making $24,000 a year who's fat working at McDonald's. Maybe in this circumstances, the woman might be better off. But like, generally speaking, men can overcome their overweightness with competency. Whereas women just can't really do that. That's always going to be like a really negative impact on the woman, irrespective of where she's at on the ladder. But men can negate that.
So what do you think is being inhibited specifically when you say like a fat woman, for example? Like, well, not necessarily in every case, but on average, like what does a fat woman have? What is being inhibited from her that if she was not as fat, she would be able to have access to? Besides, like, I don't know, being like a Victoria's Secret model or something like that.
I mean, access to, in terms of dating, access to better men.
I don't think that weight is a strict weight is like kind of like a thing that men are like very strictly selecting for. I think that men have weight preferences, but weight is one of those things that fluctuates enough that having a strict preference for it doesn't really make any sense anyway. So I don't think, even if I were to grant you that, I would say that's like a 1.2 out of 10 in terms of like significance, in terms of like someone's well-being or self-perception.
Who do you think who do you think values appearance more in a relationship? A woman wanting a conventionally attractive male partner, or a man wanting a conventionally attractive female partner?
I think that's super dependent, but I would say generally, I would grant you that generally, men value appearance more than women, but I do think that's a very subjective, very not set in stone, that's not a general rule, I would say, but
do you think there's any realm in all of society, like if I were to look at our legislative body, lawmakers, if I were to look at our media landscape, our actors, do you think there's any world, any system where there's an equal distribution of fat men and fat women? Or do you think in all of these systems there are going to be an abundance of fat men and very few fat women?
I think if you were to control for likelihood of being fat, it would be relatively even. I think it's simply a fact that men on average are more obese than women, probably. At least younger people, because I guess older. I guess with pregnancy and stuff, it might get more difficult as you get older. But I would say in terms of like young people,
in terms of like, can I ask how old you are?
25. Well, 26.
Do you remember the 20? What were the primary with all the Democrats? It was 2020. Like, if I just think of like, I'm thinking of like people in Congress and people running for president, when I think of like fat men, like Trump is fat now, obese maybe, probably. Chris Christie is a huge guy. There are, we can go through Congressman Gomer is a fatty.
Dick Cheney, John McCain.
What?
I said Dick Cheney, John McCain.
Sure, yeah. But if I look at like the women, I'm thinking like Kamala Harris, this is an ordinary BMI person, Elizabeth Warren, like Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Hillary Clinton.
Well, no, the one from the squad.
Are there
Ilhan
any
Omar.
fat women at all in the Congress? There must be at least one.
I think. Well, the one from the squad that isn't Ilhan Omar. I mean, I don't know if I would call her fat, but like I don't know if I would necessarily say she's not overweight. I haven't seen her in a while. But she's one example. But I would also say that you're also selecting for kind of like
wait. Are you saying you're not sure if Ilhan Omar is fat or not?
No, Ilhan Omar is not fat. But there's another woman in the squad, I believe. That's not AOC. That's not Ilhan Omar. It's the other one, the one that
Rashid Tlaib.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, I haven't seen her in a while, but I don't think she's like necessarily like definitely not overweight to any degree, right? I mean, maybe I don't think
maybe I wouldn't call her necessarily skinny, but this is like nowhere near like Chris Christie. Or yeah, like Gomer. I mean, okay. Well, this is like, this has to be, and she's got huge boobs. This might be, I say that to mean that like her shirt and everything is gonna be larger, I'm not being a gooner.
It's okay, I'm not judging you for that.
Well, no, because Chad is. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if she was like overweight or like right into the overweight thing. But like, is there a fat, like nobody is even close to how fat like some of the men in Congress are that can get away with it, right? Like even like Rashid Tlaib here, I don't think would be, is it Gomer? No, is it Comer? Why do I f this guy's name up so much? Is it? It's not James. Oh, it is James. These guys take. Is this a real picture? Hold on. Pritzker is giga fat.
I just want to say, I think you're taking just a fact of the world and narrativizing it.
This is not a fact of the world.
It is a fact of the world that there are fat men. There are more fat men in legislative positions. Yes. Does that mean?
Well, no, not just in legislative. In every visible position in all of society.
Okay, hang on a second. First of all, no. Second of all, let's just stick with legislative positions, because for you to say every position, we would have to go through enough for me to even be willing to think that that's not a completely outrageous claim. You have not established that just because there's a higher incidence of fatness among men in Congress, like that signifies somehow that fat women are being blocked out of Congress because they're fat. That doesn't make any sense. You think just
there's no way I can't prove like something that drastic, this causal thing. That would be impossible for me to prove. I'd have to find somebody saying like, I'm not supporting you because you're fat. I'm just saying that like, it seems like I can infer, if I look at every part of society and it feels like fat men are not inhibited by their fatness anywhere near as much as fat women seem to be, especially because the few fat women that do make it, like our Melissa McCarthy's, their whole shtick has to be about being fat. It feels like the fatness is a far more defining characteristic for a woman than it is for a man. Like I've never, like, trophy husband is a joke term. Trophy wife was like a life's aspiration for some women. You can argue there are other factors at play too. I just think in general, I think that appearance-wise, men have a broader spectrum that they can inhabit because they can overcome their appearance with their competency, whereas women, that will always be a massive detriment.
And I understand that you think that, but do you not? This is why I brought up the thing about like criticism, making fun of people. Do you not feel as though if what you just said was true, it would also be the case that fat women get made fun of a lot more than fat men? How are you reconciling these two positions?
I think fat
it
women,
is way more deleterious for women to be fat. However, men, if you're fat, you're going to get made fun of a lot more. People are going to laugh at you a lot more.
I think fat women do get. I think fat women. We're using different like examples. I think fat women do get made fun of more than fat men. But your earlier question was who would it be more acceptable to make fun of? I don't think publicly, depending on the area you're at, I don't think publicly you are making fun of fat. You're not making fun of women's appearance because you're going to get roasted in public areas, especially on social media today for doing it. But like behind closed doors, if men are ragging on some dude, it's going to be for a bunch of different reasons, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be just for being fat. Like that might be a thing they include. But for guys, if there's a woman who is fat, whoo, that's going to be like the go-to nuke spot that they're going to hit over and over and over and over again in close circles. Like no guy is going in on a girl. It's like, oh yeah, she was creepy or she doesn't make enough money or whatever else. If she's a fatty, that's going to be the go-to like a billion times over.
I'm not 100% sure I agree with that, but regardless of whether I agree or disagree with that, all I could say to that would be, yeah, it's because a lot of what people would say about fat men, they would just say it to their face anyway. They would have no or say it to people in public. They would have no reservation of like waiting until they're talking to a trusted group of people to like make comments about the person's appearance, especially if it's a person they don't like. Like you can go into any public space right now in any metropolitan area and call Donald Trump a fat fuck. Nobody will say, whoa, bro, chill. If you call, I don't know, fuck Amy Schumer a fat fuck, you call the girl from Pitch Perfect fat fuck. Most places you go, any metro place, people will like be really mad at you. So that's where I'm.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you that the public sentiment will be that way, especially because where we are culturally, but also because of like what the weight that those things carry. This is why I was comparing it to like the N-word versus calling like a white guy a cracker. It's like if you call a successful dude fat, like who the f cares? Like nobody gives a f. You're not really doing anything. I can't level some dude.
The successful dude probably cares.
No. I don't think that. No, I don't really think so. Not that much. Whereas for women, if you're successful and fat, that
thinking that is reinforcing my point. You don't even stop to consider maybe this guy probably wouldn't like if someone called him a fat fuck.
I think no. I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm not saying he likes it. I'm saying that like
it
might be
dislike it. He would actively dislike it. It'll make him feel bad, and nobody gives a fuck. That's what I would say.
Assuming the man is competent in the areas that he's in, I don't. Maybe it might bring up bad thoughts from high school or college or whatever. Maybe I mean, like, I'm not gonna say these people are invincible, but compared to like a woman, the social power of like how you can bring somebody down is just not like nobody around you is gonna be like, oh yeah, you got him, dude. Like if I'm trying to think of any fat tech CEOs. Like if you just walk in and like call this dude fat, like you're just gonna like, okay, I guess, lol. But like that's it. But like for like a woman, your appearance is something you're always going to be judged by. Like it's something that's always there. Like for politicians, for tech leaders, for any woman on YouTube, like it's a way it's a larger component of your character than anything else.
I completely disagree with that. I mean, let's just
look at Gabe. Gabe is a good example. The fucking CEO of Steam, and he's part of the group of gamers who are like some of the meanest people in the world.
Like, bro, nobody knows him, little bro.
Everybody in the gaming world knows him, but nobody's like shitting on Gabe, being like, or I'm sure there are people that do it, like, oh, Gabe Newell is fat, ha ha. Like this is just not like a thing you would like. Even if people were mad about Steam or whatever, they're gonna be like, oh, Gabe Newell is fat, ha. Like that's just not gonna be a thing that many people. It's because it doesn't carry much. No one gives a.
You know, like you're saying that, right? Okay, so I wanted to. There was something you said about like legislative. I want to go back to your legislative point.
Also, I have like. Hit me up with your final thoughts because Michael Tracy's gonna be here in like 1 or 2 minutes, so I'm gonna have to run downstairs.
Okay, I would just say there are a lot of people, like especially a lot of like older women, unfortunately, like I mean, who have like the drawn on eyebrows, who you talk about like Mar-a-Lago face and all this stuff. This is stuff that people that like this, in my opinion, is like really bad. It looks really crazy, and I think if there were guys that were walking around with like these types of drawn on eyebrows and these elevated cheekbones and these pointing out chins, people will be saying a lot more, and it will be a lot more inhibiting to them than it is for the women who currently occupy spaces in government that have these sorts of looks. And then I would also say, when you're talking about like Congress people and stuff like that, I would say, yeah, maybe. I would say definitely kind of when they were coming up back in like maybe like the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, like their weight was like super important. So now the people currently occupying these offices, maybe like there was some sort of selection bias based on weight for women that didn't exist for men, but I would say that definitely doesn't exist for people coming up right now. And for you to like very confidently assert that anyone who thinks that like, oh, like being a fat guy is like obviously much easier than being a fat woman, I think that's a crazy statement. I think that's super case dependent, and I think generally it's probably the opposite. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, like we're playing Oppression Olympics a little bit here, and that not to be derogatory about it, but like it's a bad thing no matter what. I'm just saying that I feel like it is significantly less bad for a man than it is for a woman on almost all appearance related things, being fat included. Like it's not like being fat is good as a guy, or that can't be hurtful or suck. And then especially if your life already sucks, it can compound really horribly on top of it. But
do you think there are more desperate men willing to date overweight women, or more desperate women willing to date overweight men?
Are there more desperate overweight men willing to date women, or more desperate overweight women?
More desperate men willing to date overweight women, or more desperate women, or not even necessarily desperate. Do you think there are more men willing to date overweight women, or more women willing to date overweight men?
I don't know. I'm not. Whatever the answer to that question is, I would be thinking about it with things that have almost nothing to do with being overweight on the man side. Being overweight, unless you're like obese, it's just not going to be. It's just not really going to be a big inhibitor for you for dating on the man side. If you're like a successful guy, especially if you're funny or whatever else, you don't look like a fucking demon.
What if you're an average guy?
If you're an average guy, like an average guy doesn't have to be like a Dave Chappelle comedian or like ultra competent, but as long as you're like an average dude and you're decently friendly, like. Yes, these people exist where you're like, I feel like the pairings that you normally see is like an average guy could be like slightly overweight and you've got like his mom or not his mom, but you like the wife will probably generally be smaller. Like generally speaking, that's just, women are just.
And I think this is also just the descriptive fact of the world that men are generally bigger and women are generally smaller, but I don't think that it necessarily signifies that there's a bias against fat women.
Per body thing or whatever else. Listen, we'll revisit this.
All right. All right,
wait, hold on, wait. So, just to recap, coming back so you think on average, all else equal, you think that a man being overweight is going to be more detrimental than a woman being overweight, all else equal in these people's lives?
I think they will be made fun of more for it, and I think the psychological impact of that
No, stop. I didn't say made fun of more for it. I'm asking you, who do you think has a worse life? Like, whose life is going to be made worse overall? A guy...
As a function of their weight.
Yes. If just being overweight.
I think appearance matters more for women generally, so I would probably lean towards the woman, but I think I just think that there's more to it than just like, I think there's more to it than that, and I would have to elaborate more, so.
What the f*** do we even, wait, so what do we disagree on?
I think that, we do disagree. I think maybe I just conceded something that I didn't mean to concede. I will say that being fat, I think that there's more things at play in terms of just like, strictly based on appearance, like how does that like inform outcomes? I would say that there's other things at play. Like, for example, you said take out the making fun of part. I think that, to me, I don't understand how that makes sense because that factors into the equation for me like quite heavily.
Take out the what part? Sorry.
You said take out the fact that like men will probably be made fun of more on balance. It's like, well, that's kind of a heavy factor in my equation. So if you take that out, yeah, I guess it's probably worse for women. But like that's.
Who do you think? I'm just curious on this also. Who do you think makes fun of fat men more, women or men?
I think men make fun of everyone more. I wouldn't say that like, men get made fun of more for their weight by men because men are more ruthless about that or less sensitive to the specific thing. I would say women are more sensitive to making fun of people's appearance, generally speaking. So it will just always be men that are making fun of everyone more for any sort of appearance, that like is deemed socially, not preferable.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I mean, that's yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you've conceded?
No, not at all.
You own Steven. Yeah.
Definitely not even close. But okay. All right. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate your calling. Stay safe. Be careful.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.
Good job. Do you have any final thoughts or words of hope and aspiration for us, Mouton? That's what you sound like.
Yeah, I got one. Obama.
That was freaking epic, dude. Moot, that
Are you
was.
gonna be back after your Michael Tracy stuff or no? You probably go to dinner with.
Probably go to dinner. What the f? Why?
Why?
What?
He's a nice guy.
What are you talking about? Okay.
Are you taking him to dinner or not?
I don't know, but yeah, I need you to stay here because I'm gonna have to go downstairs and come back up and get everything else set up. And everything. What are we talking about? Is there anything we even? I don't even know what we're chatting about.
What did you get him here for?
He messaged me, and then chat was like, "You should do it," and now I'm not even sure what we're going to be talking about.
So you got peer pressured.
Yes.
Cucked again on his own stream. Oh well, I didn't mean.
You didn't what?
I meant it in like a funny way.
Wait, Matt, one in a funny way.
There you go.
Why does your mic keep cutting out? Am I getting trolled by everybody today?
Oh, it's because I changed my.
No,
Hold on,
yeah, you're trolling. No, it's okay. You're trolling. You're trolling. You're trolling.
It's my fault.
Trolling.
All right, it's better now. But just know I ordered a new keyboard, so we're not gonna have the clicky clack.
Why? You can have the clicky clack. Just
no.
I just don't know why your keyboard's not balanced.
It's not a balance thing. It's my fucking space bar. It's just a loud space bar.
It's not balanced.
That's just a space bar.
Yeah, but that's not the same sound as when it was unbalanced.
It is. It's the same exact sound.
You are trolling.
Do you want to do another or?
No, I need to go downstairs.
This guy, like your producer?
Okay.
Well, no, I do all my stuff. Mouton is a real life friend of mine he was talking to my stream on Discord while I was getting you. Yeah, we did viewer call-ins before this, so.
Oh, what was the main theme of that?
Usually it's just talking about stuff we've been talking about politically over the past few weeks that people want to, yeah. The big theme that over the past few weeks has been, over the past year has been like, how do we hold the next administration accountable, basically? Yeah, which has been fun.
So you're not going to bother with this one?